Howdy, howdy.
Good morning.
Good evening.
And it's basically evening here, almost evening.
It's evening.
Can't believe another week's here, like Monday morning for us. So I don't know what happened to the weekend. I blinked and it was over.
They go quick.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, do you guys do anything fun this week?
Sounds like you had a fun night last night.
I had a
I want to,
stupid night last night.
I walked in on that conversation. I was like, I need to hear the full story.
Oh, it was just I went to a friend's house last night, and I haven't been, uh, to his place in a while. And when I was getting off the interstate, I looked down and I thought I saw some lights off the interstate over by his neighborhood. I'm like, what's going on over there? Is there a fire or a wreck or something? I get off the interstate and I start maneuvering to this neighborhood. And as I'm going through there, there's like so many people outside. It's just weird. I'm like, man, I haven't been to this town in a long time, but boy, it sure got popular. Like, it's busy here. There's a lot of people. This is crazy. And I was like, they're all outside. Now, yesterday was a weird day because there was a cold front coming in, so it blew warm air in. So all of a sudden, it was like 43 degrees in December here, which is insane. So I just think that I'm like, I guess everybody's outside enjoying the weather or something. I don't know. But I mean, there's literally a whole bunch of people. And I'm like, it's either that or there's a riot. Is there a protest? Like, what is going on out here? And I'm trying to maneuver my way over to my buddy's house. And I'm kind of like, there's so many people you can't see around the corner. So I'm driving real slow and trying to get on my buddy's street so I can get there. And I take a left and then I look in front of me and I'm like, I thought it was a fire truck. And it was a fire truck, but it has 10,000 Christmas lights. And then I look in my rearview mirror and I had turned left and I'm in the middle of a parade, a Christmas parade. And they didn't block off the road. So I turned in to the parade. And so now I'm in the line of the parade in my van. And between the fire truck and like the reindeer float or some crap behind me, I couldn't quite tell. But now I'm just part of the parade of lights going down this main street getting to my buddy's house, and I just like I guess I just intercepted their parade, and now so my van and me are stuck in this parade till I got down to my buddy's turn. It took like 40 minutes to get like 8 blocks or something stupid. I couldn't believe it. I turned into a friggin' parade. Yeah.
It's a pity you didn't have your little Santa hat in the back. You could have joined in and did the
I should
wave.
have, or turned some lights on. When I used to Uber, I had all sorts of LED lights, and I had an equalizer LED light on the back of my window. That when the music would pump and the bass would pump, it would go up like an equalizer.
Right.
But what was cool was I took it and I snipped out all the LEDs, so when it goes up, it said Uber on it. So as it would go up, it would spell Uber on my back window, and it was everybody knew me because I had the coolest Uber ride in town because it's a party van.
The boober.
Wow.
I should have renamed it the Boober after the famous Boober story. But yeah, I had an Uber light that would go up on my windows as the music would play. It was pretty funny. But that would have been. I was wishing I had that. But yeah, I end up in a freaking.
Look, Todd's driving. See what happens when we let Todd drive?
Listen. I thought I saw the lights, but I thought it was. Yeah, exactly. You don't have it. It's really hard to be up in here in this brain. So I was
space. A lot of empty space.
empty space. And I was just trying to get to his house. I was tired. It was a long day. It was after 8 o'clock, and I was just trying to get into his house, and I turned into a freaking parade. And I know what you're thinking. How did you not see that it was a parade? Because there was 2,000 people lining the street, and it was hard to see behind them.
He thought they were giving out steaks.
I was hoping. I had hope and a dream, but I ended up in the freaking. I'm probably going to be on the front page of the newspaper going, does anybody recognize this moron crashing our parade? So either that or I'm going to be. I could say that it was an abstract whatever because I was the Grinch mobile because I had no lights.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's how that went. So yeah, watch out for those.
Well, 2 years ago, you wouldn't be in a parade, in a Christmas parade. So it's a first for you.
Yeah, it was the first and hopefully the last. I will watch out for parades.
I think you should
Well,
do it next year again.
that would
Take
be
your hat
funny.
next time. Your glitter hat. It'd be
That
cool.
would be funny. You know, one of the reasons I wasn't expecting it is this wasn't like Main Street. This was a residential neighborhood, but as it turns out, that's what they do with the parade of lights is they zigzag through all the residential neighborhoods to show off all the lights. So that's why all the people were out in the streets because they're in their driveways lining all the streets and they had their burners and they're having barbecues and it was a pretty cool parade because it's not like everybody comes to Main Street. It's that they have a route that they go through all the neighborhoods to show off all the lights so that your kids and everybody can sit in the driveway and see the parade as it goes by. And me. Like, where there had been a lot of confused people going, why is this dude in the cowboy hat in the parade? But so it goes. It was funny. You live and you learn. I just never would have thought there'd be a parade in a residential neighborhood. It's not where I expect to see them.
Yeah, the world's kind of changed, hasn't it, since we've been carnivore and we've been housebound for such a long time, and you come back into the world and you trying to get your passport. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get it in a snap, and you're still waiting. How many weeks later? Like everything is just so slow and busy. You're talking about your little town, how you go to the post office and you're queuing out the door, and
yeah,
it didn't used to be like that.
No, nothing's normal. It's ridiculous. Can't park anywhere. It's a different place for sure. It feels like it doubled in size while I was like, man, I took a couple years off from society and this is what you do at the place. That is very similar.
This ain't it. This is the one in Montana last night.
No, that's it. That's Belgrade. Yep. Let's see if we can find me. Because see, they're on Main Street now. They weren't on Main Street, so I was in it at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was, because they're on Main Street now. Yeah, yep, that is Belgrade. But yeah, that's the one I was in.
There's Todd. See, you have lights on your car.
If I would have done that, I would have been in it. But yeah, that's one. That was the thing that was behind me. The Santa sleigh and the reindeer was behind me, and there was like that's cool. There was like a fire truck that was covered in lights in front of me when I got in. Yeah, I think that was might have been that thing.
Oh, how pretty is that? That's good. Nice.
Yeah. So there you go. I crashed the parade of lights.
Oh, you had a good story to tell, so it's all worth it.
Yeah, it was funny. And I was just like, all right, whatever. And then they had to been wondering because the parade was going left and I turned right on my buddy's street when I got down to it. And then they were like, this guy crashes the parade and he's making a run for it. That's so silly.
How are you feeling today, Michael? We missed you last week.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was here, but I didn't realize that we were going to be an hour late. So I grabbed my blanket, because I came about 90 minutes early, put my blanket on me, and I fell asleep.
Well,
and I woke up about 11 o'clock at night.
Michael normally waits for me to start talking before he falls asleep, but this time
I didn't need you, Todd. It was cold. I was fasting, and I put a blanket on me, and I was out.
That's awesome.
They're killer nonna blankies. I love them. I put one on and I'm out too.
Those are the kind of sleeps that feel so good.
I sleep better in my naps than I do at night. So yeah,
I bet. Yeah, we got to start working those in. What do they call those, siestas in other countries?
Yeah, nana nap. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I was gonna say, see, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm out in the real world. I'm out and exposed to the environments. And my buddy's daughter comes up with an entire bowl deep fried Oreos covered in powdered sugar and syrup, right? And it was just funny because it didn't even dawn on me. She goes, "You guys want some deep fried Oreos?" So she just made them. She didn't buy them. She made them fresh
Right.
downstairs. So it's Oreos that are battered in pancake batter. Then you deep fry them, and then you give them a dusting of powdered sugar, and then you sprinkle like a fudge drizzle over them. And so she puts them. She's like, she's offering them, being very nice, of course. And I looked at it, and as soon as I saw them, I was like, that. To me, it just looked like a bowl of death.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah,
that
sounds
is,
awful.
yeah, I'm like, that is pancake gluten batter on processed Oreos, deep fried in seed oil, covered in powdered death, and drizzled with more powdered death with soybean oil in it. I was like, wow, that whole thing is poison, and that's literally the first thing that hit my head. So
Right.
I enjoyed that. And then Gary was my buddy was like, "Don't tempt him with those." And I love that because I was like, actually, what's funny is I wasn't tempted at all. I was kind of repulsed when I saw it because I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a bowl of poison."
No.
And
Yeah.
so anyhow, I'm just getting back to that because we had this conversation. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, but there's a fun debate to be had about whether whether you're once an addict, always an addict, or not. And I don't believe that I am anymore. And a few people brought up the point that that's just because I don't test myself. And I'm like, well, what does that mean to test yourself? Because I feel like I test myself. And so yeah, I felt like that was a very organic test last night because I didn't know it was coming.
Right. You could have easily grabbed one.
Yeah, and it
Or the
was
bowl and ran and gotten back in your car and gotten a parade again.
right. And 5 years, I should have handed them out at the parade, little nuggets of crack. But 5 years ago, I would have ate that whole bowl for sure.
Right.
No problem. And so yeah, I felt like, unbeknownst to me, that was kind of a good little litmus test, little crash test, and I was happy to what my subconscious did. Because that wasn't
Yep.
yeah, I was like, oh wow. So that that was kind of a little peek into whatever's in here now, what it really thinks of it.
Right.
Diabetic Homer for sure. So, but anyhow, so I felt like that was a good thing. Like I was really happy with my organic reaction because I was like, okay, well then that is what's in here. That's like the autonomic nervous system going. We're not going to be poisoned today.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed that actually. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. I like this comment, Todd. I feel the same. I feel I'm free from feeling tempted by all the junk food, for sure. And so there's a debate to be had, and maybe it's just perception, and maybe it's I don't know, like they say, the devil's in the details, and maybe it's just about clarifying the terms or whatever. But it's kind of interesting to think of because, well, one person said, well, no, have you had sugar? Somebody said, have you had sugar since you've been carnivore? And I said, no, I haven't. And then they said, well, then you're not tempting yourself. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I also haven't had meth. But does that mean I'm a meth addict until I partake in meth and then don't crave it? So like, I don't believe that temptation is partaking in meth. I believe that temptation is being able to get my hands on it, having it in my environment, but not succumbing to it. I think that's what I consider temptation. So now I haven't taken sugar, but I don't consider that tempting myself by eating sugar, trying to moderate sugar being the temptation, because I feel like I would just be re-addicting myself to sugar. Like just like if you take heroin once, you might become addicted to it. That didn't mean you were addicted to heroin before you took it, because if you weren't addicted to it, you would be able to stop after you had it. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I think we can quit and be free from sugar with carnivore if we do things right. But it doesn't mean you can't get re-addicted to sugar, just like you got addicted to sugar the first time by eating it. I think you can get re-addicted to it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying right now I'm not an addict because people could put bowls of deep fried Oreos in front of my face and I don't even have an old reaction at all. I got a disgusted reaction that was very organic. So anyhow, put in the comments what you guys think, because that is a topic that gets my butt in hot water every time I bring it up.
Yeah. Well, for me, I was putting myself in challenging situations as well. We'd go out to events and there'd be food everywhere. And I was really happy that I could just stand there with my sparkling water, drink that. And people were like, oh, aren't you going to try some of this or some of that? And that's carnivore. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And I felt really good about it. But, a couple of months later, when things sort of hit the fence with my daughter and all that, it's like I'd come down a notch. I was upset and I sort of did fall into that little bit of a comfort thing. And I don't know, it was a little bit of an escape. And it's like once someone sort of kicks a stool out from under you, then those things become harder to avoid. So, but I'm kind of back at that stage where I'm back on my pedestal now. So if someone was to put something in front of me, I wouldn't be tempted again. But you just have to be aware that you can't always be that high. If something was to knock that pedestal from out of you, you may be tempted at one stage. Like it's not, I don't think it's a forever thing.
Yeah. Well, that I might have to see, because I honestly don't know the answer, but I know that there's only two possible answers, and one of them is that you can break addiction and not be an addict. The other one is that if you're exposed to too much, maybe it can become too great and your addiction can come back. Those are both things, but I'm not saying this because I'm like, look, because I did it, I think everybody should be here. What I'm saying is, I don't know how I got here, but I'm really happy that I am here, and I might be a complete one-off. But also, I would hope, I would like it to be a little bit of a message of hope for people that think for the people that think there's no use in trying because they'll never get free from it. I think because 23 months ago I thought the same thing. I was like, man, I'm just broken. I'm never getting free from this. And so, but I'm equally as, it's equally unbelievable to me that I'm going through it. I'm like, I can't believe that made that much of a change. Like I'm that much of a different person. But also I'm hoping that it'll be very hopeful for people because it really is 100% how things are going. And if I go off the rails and however it happens, I'll let you know if it ever happens. But right now, it's been a very, I don't know, something is just different. I'm not the same person that I was before, and it's interesting.
You see things differently now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to talk about that, and the reason why I speak about this is not to go, oh, look, I'm doing so good or whatever. It's because I'd like to backward engineer it so we can figure out how everybody can get there if it's possible, Like if it's possible, trace our steps backwards and see what did do it. This is what we've been doing in SBG and the Chew a lot lately too, and I've been talking about it. And we're going to do more so in the Iron Sharpens Iron meetings too. And this is why it's so on my mind, is because I don't know now what all the things we just talked about this Saturday. I don't know what all the things that I did. I know that there's a lot of them that made a difference, but I don't know what ones made the most difference or what ones weren't necessary, or maybe they're all necessary. I don't know, but it was from my faith, from prayer, from Jordan Peterson's lectures and his lessons and his worldview that I started following, kind of, right? His processes, his thinking, the carnivore, getting off of sugary soda and going to diet soda, and then going from standard American diet to a weightlifter diet to a keto diet to a ketovore diet to a carnivore diet. Like it was a process, it really was. And I don't know what ones did what now. I'm trying to figure out what one of those could I have taken away and still ended up here,
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that you set up a kitchen in your room So everything was there and it was convenient. That was a huge help. And for me, the air fryer was my tool of choice, because if I had to think about getting the pan out, having oil everywhere, like it was difficult for me to stand up in the kitchen and be able to cook. And it was, it's so much easier to order something. You just dial something and wait for someone to answer the door and the food is there. So having the tools in place and having the meat on hand, it was like there's no choice. The meat's there, the air fryer, 2 buttons, and it's done. Convenience, and that was a huge sort of what got me on track to start off with, because it was super easy. And then my husband, he doesn't cook, but he knows how to push 2 buttons on an air fryer. So he just knew, 5 minutes and then flip it, 2 minutes and it's done. And we could do it from frozen. Super simple. So between the two of us, we could take it in turns to cook this easy meal. That was a huge step for us and to get us on track.
I totally agree. We were talking about that today too. Basically, that it's an environmental change, right? You change the environment around you to produce what you want.
I think the best thing that you can do is when you're having the cravings and you're thinking about going off rail, eat. When I start getting that thought in my head of, just out of nowhere, I thought of pizza. Pizza was my go-to food. Okay, that would pop into my head, and then I start craving pizza. And the thing that I found that to be the best is go make yourself some eggs. They're quick and easy. Go fry yourself. For me, I'll go fry up 2 hamburger patties or ground beef, and then I throw my eggs in there. I scramble them, and I eat that, and I'm done. Now I got that made in 6 minutes. Okay?
Yeah.
And once you start eating it, you're good. The cravings are gone. You're full, and it's no longer in your mind.
Yeah, and that's why I love the priming, because you have to eat until you're full. So you never get that hungry feeling. It's just you're constantly eating your 3 meals a day for 2 weeks or whatever.
Right.
Then by then, you sort of get to know your satiety signals and whether you're hungry, and you can sort of control it a little bit better, because those cravings are gone. Like they just seem to disappear.
Absolutely. It really is amazing. That was my emergency protocol for getting through it. And then, the reason why I knew I had to build that kitchen around me to make it the path of least resistant to the right food. I was weighing it, going, what am I fighting against? Right? I had to make it the path of least resistance. So the path of least resistance had been DoorDash. So I had to make an environment that was easier than DoorDash. So I had to erase the DoorDash apps and Uber Eats apps and all that stuff off my phone. And then I had to realize that they were going to send a welfare check on me to see if I was okay. Because we were just tight like that after so many years. and but then I had to make it to where it took all the excuses away. But also what shaped my mind to think that way was the fact that we are a product of our environment. And when you listen to Gary Taub and Dr. Robert Lustig talk about, we are the reason why 74% of the population is sick, overweight, and obese is because our food environment's changed, right? So, but as soon as you know that, now you have tools to work with. So it's like, well, then I have to change my food environment that's right around me. I have to change my food environment to what I want it to be to see if it works. And so that's what that little kitchen was about. That was my little very straightforward brain thinking. Well, if your environment can make you sick, then if you change your environment, it should be able to make you carnivore, and it should be able to heal you. And it worked. It really did work. And that's what some of the tools that we talk about, like if you really want to make a go out of this, you got to build an environment around you, which is going to be difficult. But that is one of the things. I think you're right, Lindy. I think that's one of the big steps to get you over the hump,
Yeah. And then, going out, I used to love going out to restaurants and trying different things. But now I think about it and I'm like, I don't want to go to restaurants because I don't know where those people have been. Have they washed their hands? Like I almost have like a bit of a phobia about other people cooking. And do you know how many people can't cook a steak? Like I'm really happy with my frozen air-fried steak. Sorry, Todd. I still have it. But that tastes better than some of the stuff you get in restaurants.
For sure.
It's like if I can do it with my little frozen air fryer trick and make it taste pretty good, why can't these chefs do it? But it's always overcooked. It's never the way I like it. And I don't know what they always add something to the plate that's weird. Even if I ask for no sides or anything, they always have to put something on the plate. And all the food smells the same. I think they just reuse the oil on every dish. And so
Yeah.
you get funky flavors and smells. Like everything smells the same. It's awful.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I don't. Yeah.
It does. It smells terrible. I mean, you go in there, I'm like, did you guys? I mean, it smells like boiled foot toe fungus or something in the oil that they're using now. When I go in there, I
Yeah.
never smelled it before, but you go in there, it's like, why does this, smell like gout and dirty feet? Like, what is this thing? I don't even know it's so gross in there. But you can walk into a restaurant now and that burnt putrid seed oil. I couldn't smell it before. It's the first thing I smell when I go into a restaurant. I'm like, I'm
It
not
was
eating.
always in your
Yeah.
system before. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
it's out of you. Yeah.
Yeah, like this place. Are you guys cooking toe fungus for your special today? That's what it smells like in here. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
gross. No, 100%.
And yeah, I've got a pretty iron gut. I'm one of those people that I can eat anything and I don't really have anything wrong with me. Like some people, they get like you with your lettuce. You had your lettuce and you get a swollen knee.
Yeah.
Nothing happens with me. I've got an iron gut, and I think it's just my Italian background. I don't know. We can eat anything. So I wish I did have those issues, but still, I don't like the smell. It tastes, yeah, the smell puts me off before anything. I don't even taste the food. So I do like to eat before I go out. I cook my own steak or do whatever, eat until I'm nice and full. So if I do go out, I just sort of pick on other people's plates and I will treat myself to a coffee. I do drink coffee, sorry, not having my carnivore card, but that is my treat. And I feel fine with that. And people, they know. And I love it when we get bread because I put it in a doggy bag and I feed the geese around the corner from us. Got a big pond with geese and I give them my bread. And that's my enjoyment. I get more enjoyment out of that than eating their food.
Yep, I know what you mean. And now, and it does save us money too because now I can't eat. I don't eat out because of some sort of dietary choice anymore because I know I could go find the places that I could get clean enough. I just don't eat out because it makes me mad. I'm like, I make way better food for way less money,
Right.
and I don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so annoying. It's not even convenient enough anymore. Just like you said, Lindy, with the air fryer and smoking it if you want to, and smoking large batches to where you just have to heat it up or eat it even cold. It's taken all the work out of it. It's taken all the mess out of it. It's better than their food and way cheaper. So it's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't even do that anymore. Nope. Let's see. We got some comments. What does everyone drink hot in the winter? I drink vegan tears. They're hot and salty.
What? Vegan teas, hot and salty.
Yeah, you don't get it here in the United States. That's a little joke about the trolls. The people that
Oh,
try.
okay.
No, I don't drink anything hot. I just drink sparkling water cold. So that's why I didn't have an answer for that. Do you guys drink anything hot?
I drink my coffee and I drink my peppermint tea.
Nice.
Yeah, I like peppermint tea at night and I have a coffee socially. And sometimes in the morning I'll drink, I've got like a bone broth powder and I'll pop 2 spoons of that. It's collagen and enriched grass-fed bone broth powder. Add some salt and a bit of butter and I whiz it up with my thing and yeah, have that, just a big cup of bone broth. And I love that for winter.
That's awesome.
Mm.
There's Tim sitting down to a bit of short ribs. That's awesome, Tim. Have a rack for me, please.
Must be nice, Tim.
Sounds nice, yeah.
Tim's
I do
living
love
high
a good
life.
beef rib.
That's awesome. Tina,
Living the
laughing out
life.
loud. I love Sunday nights with y'all. Hello from Wisconsin. Appreciate you, Tina. So
Hi,
happy you're here.
Tina.
Let's see. Former Oreo fiend. No way would I ever eat those. Even then, that sounds appalling, right? I know. I mean, I'm sure if you're a sugar crackhead, like I was back then, I'm sure they're probably delightful. But now they look like, they look like diabetes pills. Right?
And they're not even going to taste good anymore. They're not even going
No,
to taste the way they used to taste to us.
no.
Way too sweet.
I've
Yeah,
never actually had an Oreo. I have seen them at the supermarkets, but they're not really that big here. Tim Tams are our big thing in Australia. We love our Tim Tam biscuits. They're
I
chocolate
gotcha.
coated, double chocolate coated, and all that. Yeah, that's our nemesis.
That's your Oreo. Well, imagine taking one of those, breading it in pancake batter, deep frying it in oil, pulling it out, putting powdered sugar all over it, and then drizzling it with chocolate syrup.
Look, I have heard of fish and chip shops. They actually batter their Tim Tams and deep fry it, and you can buy those. I've never tried one. To me, that just sounds disgusting to batter a chocolate biscuit, and yeah, no way.
Yeah,
So I couldn't do it.
here it's called fair food. When you go to the fair, they take and deep fry everything. So they'll batter like a Snickers bar and deep fry it. They'll batter ice cream and deep fry it. They batter butter here and deep fry it.
Oh, wouldn't it melt? Like how do
You freeze the butter so it's a frozen block, and then you put it, then you batter it, and then you deep fry it real quick so it gets a hard coating. So there'll be butter, so the outside little bit of layer will melt a little bit inside, so it's a oily, greasy thing. But they deep fry butter.
So who came up with this idea of deep frying everything? I mean, it just sounds so wrong, doesn't it?
They do, But I mean, we're in a country where they put bacon on donuts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like breakfast bacon. They'll get these long, what are those called? Maple bars. They'll get long maple bars and they'll put 2 strips of bacon on top of a maple bar. And Five Guys has a bacon milkshake. They grind up bacon in a milkshake.
It's probably not even real bacon. It's probably some powdered.
No, it's real bacon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's real bacon.
What a waste of bacon.
It's actually delicious, if I'm telling the truth. Well,
I'm sure it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a place here. It's called I can't think of the name. That's how long it's been for me to have it. But they have a chocolate shake with a huge piece of chocolate cake, double fudge, inside of it, and it's all mixed up. And back in the day, I get the extra large.
Oh my God, this is exactly what's wrong with our country.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was excited last week. We went to my butcher, and he actually makes his own bacon. Like I didn't even know, and it's all like he doesn't use any chemicals, no preservatives, no nothing. It's like pure bacon. And so he doesn't have it on his website or anything. I have to actually put a special order in. So he's going to make me some. So yeah, it's so good.
That's
good.
Awesome.
Because all the stuff you buy at the supermarkets here, you read the labels, dextrose and all sort of weird crap in it. I can't even call it bacon. So I'm looking forward to getting that next week.
See, here we go. We got Matt. It's not true you're always an addict, but could be tempted back into old days.
Sorry.
Had cheese. Had cheese at Thanksgiving, I think is what he meant. Left the cake in the fridge for 4 days and never went back. 5th day, I threw it out. Awesome. So I don't know. How do you guys read that? So Matt, are you on the once an addict, always an addict side, or not true that you're always an addict? I think you're saying it's not true that you're always an addict. Yeah.
Yeah, you can be tempted to go back. It's simple. If you let go and you just start having it again, yeah.
Yeah, yes. I think. Yeah, Well, and we'll have to see. But look, there was a time we weren't addicted to anything, and then we became addicted to all these different things, and we got tempted by them. Then we partook in them. Then we made it a habit.
Here, we got a troll in the channel here. This guy thinks one of us is going to have a stroke tonight. But
oh, really?
If you were here a year and a half ago, I would have said, yeah, we would have. But what we've done has changed our lives.
Joe
So I don't know what you're think that you know what you're talking about. You don't know shit.
Take it from Michael. He's feisty
Yeah.
tonight.
Watch our intro, buddy, from where we were to where we are today, and look at the difference that we have. We actually getting our lives back.
Right, for sure.
So,
But anyhow, but keep chatting in the chat there, AJ. It's good for the
yeah, he said a
algorithm.
few other things. He thinks we're going to have arteries more blocked up than the Hoover Dam. So,
Oh well, that sounds scientific. All of them are a thickening heart attack. Okay, perfect. Well, I've been hearing that now for 2 years. Low fat vegan diet best for okay. All right, keep drinking the Kool-Aid. Now we know what's wrong with AJ's brain. He doesn't have any animal fat. You know that your brain runs as 70% animal fat, cholesterol.
yes. Cholesterol, 70%. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think yours is running low.
Go do some research and find out when dementia started is when they start pushing everybody's cholesterol lower.
Michael, you're talking to somebody without a functioning brain.
Well, that's probably the reason why.
Yeah, you know the old parable, do not cast pearls among swine.
I know.
They're talking about AJ.
I know.
So, all right. I agree. Temptation is having the thing available, but not partaking of the thing. Yeah, I agree with that too, because partaking is not temptation. That's actually delving in, and that's when you can start having addictions, because that's when you're going to excite the dopamine centers of your brain. You're going to start changing your hormones, and you're going to have brain chemistry tie into that. So for sure. Let's see. I contend sugar is a drug and everyone is capable of becoming a sugar addict. I think so. I do. I really do. Maybe there's some people to a certain point that are more resilient to not being addicted to things, because it seems like that there is a small subset, but they're going to be from what it looks like to me, that's going to be on the outside of the bell curve. It's going to be at the very fringe ends. It's not going to be the average or the norm by any means,
I do think, some people are more sensitive to it than others, and that's why some people get into trouble and others don't.
Yep. I agree. Carver Hercules, the organization I work for is having a Christmas party. There will be nothing there safe for me to eat. The chicken will be roasted, which means it's coated in flour and pressure cooked in oil. Yeah, because
eat before you go.
That's what the chicken needs. What you know what make your chicken a little healthier is a little bit of seed oil. Oh, good Lord. They're ruining our food. It's crazy. Right, Todd. I went out with grandkids to Santa's Wonderland, and when they ate pizza and fries, all I saw was poison. Yeah, I had a hamburger patty with no buns, so I could sit there and eat with them. Absolutely. Then congratulations, B-Dog. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's, I'm not trying to get preachy here, but the Bible says that, right? It says that you renew your mind by meditating on basically things, right? And in the Bible sense, it's by meditating on the word. But I think anything you meditate on, that's where the actions of your heart are going to come from. And so when you know the truth and these things are sick, and this is what I was trying to say the other day. I'm like, well, maybe it's because I have a really strong foundational belief now that these things are the enemy, and they're what made me, killed my brother, killed my dad, these type of things. And maybe that's the foundational belief that I have now, that is why, because your actions are going to come from your heart. Basically, at the end of the day, your desires come from your heart, and those are put in there by what you meditate on and what you think about, and the knowledge you have and how you perceive things. And before, we perceived things that was, well, the grocery store wouldn't sell it if it was bad for me, and the doctors wouldn't tell me to do it if it was bad for me, and all these other people really care about me, and they're not making me sick for money. We used to think that because we were stupid. And now we know for sure that, of course, that they will absolutely kill us and give us a shitty quality of life and poison us and have us addicted if they can make money off us, because they do not care, because we are just a number to them. We're a consumer.
exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Bud. Yep.
So when we know that, and we know they become our enemy, right? We are in a world full of snake oil salesmen that are trying to sell us nonsense that not only are going to not be what they say they are, they're going to be other things that are going to make us need more of their product later. And their products aren't just in the grocery store; they're at the hospital and in the drug companies because they are on both sides of this war. They're selling,
Yeah.
they're selling ammunition to
The
both sides,
cause, and they're selling the cure.
right? Which is the treatment, not the
Yeah.
cure. It's the
No.
treatment.
Yeah, there is no cure. They don't
No.
want to sell a cure.
Oh, there's a cure, but they
want.
don't want us to have it.
No, right.
That's why they demonize cholesterol
Right.
and animal products, right? Isn't it funny? We're not telling you to eat sugar. We're just telling you to not eat protein or fat.
Yeah, but they push all the food companies put sugar in just about everything there is.
Right,
Look at all
including
the
their
labels.
drugs.
Yes.
Including their drugs.
Yeah.
And then so by omission, they only leave carbohydrates left on the table for the most. Carbohydrates and fiber is what they leave on the table because they demonize most all protein, unless it comes from a plant that happens to be full of carbohydrates and oxalates. It's going to make you sick that we screwed with the seed and we own the patent on it, and they do all this. I'm already going to get hard strike. I feel it coming. I feel it in my loins.
We'll all get a hard strike, so be careful.
All right. For me, it seems like the big mind shift has happened because my mind is clear and I can see and recognize, right. What isn't actually food, and I can't unsee it. Correct. You can't unsee it. Yep. And you can't untaste it, and you can't unsmell it. I mean, when your senses and your signaling clears up, and all of a sudden you're like, that doesn't smell delicious. The seed oil doesn't smell delicious. It smells like feet. And that stuff doesn't taste sweet. It tastes like plastic and chemicals. And it doesn't incite the endorphin center of my brain. It inflames me and makes my head hurt and makes me tired and go into a sugar coma. Like, yeah. Can't unring that bell. Do you think you still have cravings for stuff for non-carnivore? I don't really. I'm trying to think. I have cravings, but they're. So I was telling this to Lindy the other day and Michael. I think the only time that I'm weak now, and because I really had to think about this, and I just don't let it happen, so it's not on the forefront of my brain. But the only time that I'm vulnerable to a craving that I'm not sure where it's going to go is if I'm not fasting, but I run out of food.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I get in a little bit of a stress spot because I start getting hungry and low on energy, and my body gets ravenous.
Right.
And I'm like, oh crap, I don't have time to get food, and I'm more hungry and I don't want to fast. That's when my brain starts going, well, what is in the fridge that I could eat? And I know the answer already is nothing. Nothing in there is good because that's mom's crap.
Right.
It's even if it's keto, I'm like nothing. And so that's why even the other day, I had that happen, and I just got in my car and I went to the store and I bought 2 prime rib primal roasts. I was like, there we go, fix that problem. 44 pounds of prime rib, that'll do it for a couple of days. And yeah, and so that's just what you just have to have the mindset that like, no, I'm not listening to any of the noise. I'm going to get the meat. But when I do crave stuff, like just a normal hunger, and I have the food, when my body craves stuff, it's been carnivore. Like right now, do not ask me why, because I have no clue why my body has told me to do this and where this craving came from. But I've been eating it the last 5 days now, maybe 6. My body wants butter poached shrimp and scallops. I've never been a seafood person. I don't really eat butter, but I've eaten 6 pounds of shrimp in the last 5 days and probably 2 pounds of scallops. I don't know why, but that's what my body's been wanting. It's
Body wants nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's iodine or if there's omega-3 in it or something that my body's missing, but it's telling me to eat it. And as long as it's a animal product, it's fat, it's protein, and there's no carbohydrates in it. So I'm like, I don't care. If that's what you want, that's what you're gonna have in it. And I feel great every time I eat it. I feel fantastic when I'm eating it. I don't know why. And it's really weird for me because I've never craved seafood in my entire life. I'll eat it,
Interesting.
but I've never craved it. And that came out of absolutely nowhere.
We always have salmon once a week, and I enjoy that. But
Yeah.
I do crave salt sometimes. I don't normally have it on my meat anymore, but occasionally it's just like, oh, I can't eat this without salt. So if anything, that's sort of my big craving. I just think my body's telling me I need extra salt at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder I'm going to have to research what's in, because like you say, ultimately, I just think our signaling's getting way better. So, you know, when you want salt, same for me on fat. I know when my
Yeah.
body wants fat. I know when it doesn't, you know? So I don't know. It's very strange to me. But I'm going to have to research
Yeah.
what's in shrimp, I guess, and scallops. You know what's crazy? I'd never had a scallop before, and I was craving something I've never tasted. That's one other reason I was like, why? How did my body even know to crave a scallop? Because I'd never eaten one.
Oh, I love scallops. They're one of my favorites, but I don't buy them because, I can't cook them. It's a lot. They're expensive if you can't cook them.
How come you can't cook them?
No, Scott doesn't like the smell of it. It's too fishy for him, so I don't cook it. Yeah.
I think they're delicious.
Yeah, in batter, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I just poach. I put the shrimp and the scallops in, and you got to pull the scallops out quicker because they cook really fast.
Yeah.
But I just poach them in butter. I put a whole 8-ounce block of butter in there, and then I just put the lid on it and I let them boil in the butter. And I know that you're supposed to sear scallops, but I don't have the patience to sear the scallops, and maybe I will someday. But they taste just fine. They're just like a different flavor of shrimp, but kind of similar to the same texture. You know, really tasty.
I love them.
Yeah.
One day.
It's fine to let go of the label of addiction. You know where you are. I see people who want to hold on to those labels forever, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. Labels can be detrimental. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, you know, like, it's a hard thing because as people get very I don't know, it's definitely a controversial topic, and people are pretty passionate about both sides of it. And I'm definitely on the contrarian side of it. But you know, the thing is I'm not. I know what it's like to think that I'm addicted to things, and to not be free from things. I was that way forever. And what I'm saying is, if this isn't being free from addiction, I don't know what that would look like, you know, and I don't know what good it would do me to think that I wasn't free from it. Like, because I already have all the caution tape up, knowing that I get addicted to things very easily. So I already know not to, and I already know that I'm not a moderator by any means. So I know those two things about me. I know I'm not a moderator, and I know I have an addictive tendency, and I know anybody that knows me knows that I either have to be 110% into things, or I don't do, you know, like I don't like them at all. So I know that I'm very obsessive with things, you know, so they're going to take all my time. So I know all those things. So that already puts, what I'm saying is that already puts up the guardrails for me not to get to not to have a, you know, let my guard down and let them come in. So I already know that, but I'm just purely saying that doesn't mean that I'm addicted still. It just means that I could get re-addicted. In my head, that's how I look at it. And so I'd love to know. Now, I think Dr. Phil's gonna take me to task on that, because he's clinically, I think he has a reason that he's going to tell me psychologically and clinically that that's not true. And I'm not sure I want to hear it, to be honest with you, because I'm quite happy not being addicted to anything. If you name it, you enable it. Is that true? If so, saying once an addict, always an addict gives it a foot in the door of addiction. Right. I think so, Tim. That's why I think people have a tendency to think that if you say that you're not addicted, then you're just fooling yourself, type of thing. Like you're just, but I don't think so, because I think I was fooling myself before when I was going to the doctor and listening to their advice. I think that's more of a proper representation of fooling yourself. When you think that other people are going to fix your addiction for you, that's when I think I was fooling myself, which is funny, right? Because if you take this up, they're like, you need professional help. You need to go see a doctor. You need to go see this and do that. And maybe all those things are true. Maybe they could be helpful. But there's a connotation there that these people are going to free you. And none of those people are going to free you. You're going to, like, if you don't do it yourself, like they can be a tool, just like Carnivore is a tool. Carnivore doesn't free us, because this is why, Phil goes in on the why stuff too. But Carnivore doesn't free us if we're not going to be there ourselves and already have the mindset that we're going to do whatever it takes and we're going to fight, right? And
Yeah.
so there is a point to that, right? But Carnivore is a tool, but it's a very effective tool, because without the tool, and this would be my view, without the tool, you only have willpower, and willpower has a short lifespan. Like you can't do it for forever. Like you just get wore down. So I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm gonna videotape it. We're gonna be right here, and if I crash and burn, you guys will be the first one to see the mushroom cloud. So many stories about people having one cookie and going off the rails for weeks. How does that happen biologically, or is it physiological? I don't know. So there's stories. I mean, that's a very good point, right? There's stories about people that try heroin one time and they're a lifelong heroin addict, right? And it consumes them. Like there's people out there that can do a drug one time and it owns them. Then there's other people out there that can do drugs 100 times and it doesn't, and they can still walk away from it. I don't know what that is, but I would contend that if you do a drug 10,000 times, addictive drug 10,000 times, I don't think that anybody walks away from it anymore. Not some sort of an addict until you clean up. That something psychologically or neurologically in your brain changes, right? Because there's that thing that says that you build a new neurologic pathway in your brain if you spend 7 minutes a day. I think it was actually 7 minutes and 30 seconds a day. They observed if you do something repetitively for 7 minutes and 30 seconds a day every day for 21 days, that you create a new neurological pathway neuron in your brain that is that behavior, and you actually rewire your brain to have that behavior be part of your neurological makeup. Now, I don't know that that's true, but I did hear, this was a long time ago. I'm trying to remember what show that was on that I was watching. It was a documentary, but it was about habits, and it was really interesting. But something like takes like 40 or 60 days where you do not participate in that behavior before that neurological pathway will go away. It actually breaks down and it goes away. So I don't know. I would say that I think in my mind is you have to take where I was. Okay, so I don't know. We all eat sugar at first, and we eat lots of it. So I couldn't say that it was that I got addicted to sugar off of one instance, because I don't know that any of us got addicted to sugar off of one instance. But the thing is we were fed it for forever, right? When we were kids and growing up. So we had it before it became a problem. We had already had sugar 10,000, 100,000, 500,000 times. I don't know. We had a lot of sugar before it was a problem, before we realized how addicted we were and we realized it was a drug. So I don't think you can really use that instance of one getting hooked off of one hit type of thing. But also because you created so many neurological pathways, I would assume, because that's any one behavior. Think of all the different behaviors that we did repetitively throughout our life, right? So to create multiple neurological pathways and multiple, like we rewired our brain around food. That's what the holidays are doing. That's what your birthdays are doing. That's what dinner time's about. That's what movie time snacks are about. That's what dessert time's about. That's what all of these things are about. They all created new habits. That's why we infused this drug of eating to get dopamine stuff with every aspect of our lives. Like when you got, like, it was part of celebration, it was, there was the drug aspect of, what gets me out of bed in the morning is a latte with a bunch of sugar in it.
Right.
And then, what's, you're looking forward to lunch, or you're looking forward to a 10 o'clock break so you can have a soda. You're looking forward to lunch so you can have whatever crap you're about to eat for lunch. You're looking forward to getting home so you can watch a movie with your ice cream or your pizza or whatever your snack is, your thing. And then, you're going to have a dessert before you go to bed type of thing, like we have food holidays for crying out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's not that we created one habit, we created a whole bunch of habits all around the same drug. And we did that for a long time. So sure, it's hard. It's really hard. Think about how deadly heroin and meth and all that stuff would be if it was if you were eating it 3 times a day, and for snacks and dessert and for movie time and for holidays and birthdays and celebrations. If you did all that all around and you did it for 25 years before you realized that it was making you sick,
Right.
man, that would be tough. And that's what happens to us with the crappy food. And that's why it's so miserable to unwire it. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it's not easy, or that it's easy and that it's not hard and it's not going to, be a fight. What I am saying is, what other option do you have? Because if you're not fighting to get free from it, you're going to be fighting to live while you're dominated by it, and your situation is going to get worse and you're going to get sicker every day. But also, this is why I'm starting to go backwards, going, this really didn't start 23 months ago. That's just when I made big strides. This started 9 years ago when I started working on not drinking soda, and then not eating fast food, and going to the weightlifter diet, and listening to Jordan Peterson, and getting my thoughts straight, and working on all this stuff. It's actually been, and I don't want to discourage anybody, it's actually been a 9-year process. I never looked at it that way before, because when I went from soda to diet soda, I looked back at after Carnivore and I said, oh, well, that was a mistake. That was something I screwed up. So I discarded what benefit maybe going from soda to diet soda had for the short period of time, being a bridge and a step in the right direction. But then I went from that step to a weightlifter's diet, and I went, oh, that didn't work, and it made me sick and miserable, so that wasn't right. And then I went from that to keto, and I thought the same thing about that. And I went from keto to ketovore, and I thought the same thing about that. And then I went to carnivore, and then carnivore, I had all the results and I got free. So I was like, okay, carnivore was the one. But what I'm saying is, now I'm looking back going, well, Jordan Peterson would say that you can have anything you want, in 5 years, but you have to aim at it. And you have to, because if you're, if instead of, which I say this all the time, but instead of digging the hole deeper, if you're aiming in a trajectory that's out of the hole so that you stop making yourself sicker, even if you're not making great stride forward, you did stop digging the hole, and that's better. And then you can start navigating and figuring out how to get to your goal. So all that I'm saying is, I'm trying to figure out, even though I originally decided that all those steps were a mistake and that they weren't effective at all, I'm going back now trying to think of maybe that was a longer process than I thought, and I just didn't realize it at the time. You know what I mean? So that was a long answer.
Don't eat the cookie. That's all I said. Don't eat the cookie.
To reach a place where you're no longer a victim to addiction or anything else is quite a milestone and achievement. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Dr. Phil's kind of working with us on some team building stuff, which I'm quite enjoying. But he sent us some stuff, and one of the quotes that he shared, I forget whose quote it was, but I did like it quite a lot.
Simon Sinek. Was it
No,
Simon Sinek?
no, that wasn't his quote. I don't think. Maybe it was.
Zig Ziglar.
I think it was Zig Ziglar. I think was the one, because he said that you're not a victim of your life, you're the architect, or you're not a victim of your problems, you're the architect of your problems, right? Something to that effect. And I was like, ooh, that's a good one. Right? Which lines up with what Jordan Peterson says. He goes, you can have anything you want within reason, and you wouldn't believe how much better your life can get in 5 years. But the rule, and there's only two basic principles, is that you have to know what you want. So you have to know the destination, basically, and then the direction you have to go in. That's knowing what you want, and then you have to aim at it. And then basically, you have to keep pointing at it. You can't get turned around and go backwards. You can't keep going into the hole. You can't keep making it worse. Which is why I say, even when people think that they're stalled or that it's not going fast enough, one of the greatest things that just turning the car around and pointing at something is that you stop descending into hell. You stop getting sicker. You stop getting bigger. You stop making the addiction worse, right? So even a stall, which I don't actually believe exists now, because like Dr. Kilt says that the body doesn't like balance; it likes the act of balancing. And the body doesn't like to be stagnant. I don't think you can be stagnant in life. Like, look, the universe is always expanding. Like, we're in motion at all times. But in our mind, we think we're stalled because we just don't see the work happening under the surface at the time, so we're not seeing the results or, the manifestation of the results we want at the time. So we feel like we're stalled. But I'm just saying, even if that was the case, even if we really were stalled, great. That's still better than nosediving deeper into the hole, right? Like we were.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely, Michael. Fill up on eggs and fatty meat, and you'll kibosh those voices. Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yes, the easier the process, the easier to follow. 100%. What a concept. Eat until you're full. Right? Almost like we were designed that way. Did you guys not know that we only got here because our ancestors had food scales and they counted macros? Yeah. Priming eliminated my cravings. So if I were to start craving, means I need to reprime again. Yep, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. I got off the carnivore diet at Halloween for a small family gathering. Here is December, and I'm still trying to kick the carbs. So disappointed in myself. Had a strict carnivore for 5 months. But Kelly, use that, because you're gonna get back on there, and man, I think we all know that feeling, because I mean, it's like I said, it's just like, that old joke where it's like, man, every time I lose something, I find it in the last place I look. You don't find things and then keep looking. So it's like, when you see people that are further along from you, that's why you should never measure your progress by other people. You should only measure your progress by yourself. Exactly. By yesterday of yourself. Yep. But the reason why is because you didn't see the you didn't see the 39 years that I did all those things, Kelly, and fell off for 39 solid years and fell backwards. But now, what do they say? There's either learning or winning. There's no mistakes, or there's no losing. There's either winning or learning, and they're both winning. I think Coach Rochelle says that. And, that's very true, right? Well, part of the reason why I'm successful, and the reason why Lindy's successful, and the reason why Michael's successful today, is because we were so unsuccessful. We pretty much learned all the ways to screw up our diet and fall off the wagon for forever. So, yeah,
And we
just
tried all the tools as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta go, okay, well, I know this sucks, so I'm gonna remember that time that this idea of going off the Halloween candy trail gets in my head. I'm gonna go back to this and to this very comment, and I'm gonna go chat with Todd and Lindy and Michael and say, guess what? It's Halloween 2025, and I was thinking about having a bucket of Halloween candy and then getting back on it tomorrow. What do you guys think? We're going to remind you.
Just take a screenshot of this right here, your comment that's on the screen right now. Go onto your phone, go put it so it pops up on Halloween.
Exactly.
And there you go.
And you'll come back to this and you'll go like, oh yeah, that wasn't worth it.
Actually, a couple days before, so you don't buy the Halloween candy.
For sure. Also, if you, I'd like to hear from you, Kelly, in the comments. And sorry, we're gonna do a turbo around here on the comments to get caught up to you guys. But in the comments, did the candy taste like it did before? Did it fulfill did it fulfill that great feeling that you thought it was? Because even when I was on keto and ketovore and I would go off the rails, the reason why that started losing its power was because this was part of the reason that I think even keto and ketovore were a bridge to carnivore and getting free, was because even then the sweet stuff didn't taste like the memory I had in it. It didn't do anymore for me what I thought it was going to do.
And here, Kelly, you're not alone. Look at Debbie did the same thing, so she understands. So you're not alone in this. You can't look at it as a fail. Sure, you failed. We but it happens. But now you start over again and you learn from it from next Halloween or any other time. Like Easter's coming up, and that's another big holiday for candy. You know better. And you learn from them. That's how you do it.
For sure.
And you need to channel those feelings instead of feeling guilty and like a failure. It's like, okay, well, I tripped up. That's fine. Get back, dust yourself off and get back on track. Turn that into a fight. I'm not going to let this beat me now.
Nope.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. I'm such a terrible streamer. I forgot that I was on Instagram over. That doesn't
probably
come
Dr. Kill's probably.
Oh, not Dr. Kills again.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes. All right. So, all right. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get to your questions here on Instagram real quick.
Poor Dr. Kills thinks you're ignoring him.
Yeah. Debbie, I'm trying to claw my way back after passing of my sister Sharon. So sorry to hear that. We are praying for it. I missed a question in front of my question to Lindy. I've heard of deep fried Mars bars. Wow, that's crazy. Let me see if I got to go back and find her question to Lindy. I'll check back in the reply. Okay, thank you.
Maybe just ask her to repost the question.
Yeah, please, Deb, if you would repost the question. You have done a fantastic job with your weight journey. What is the longest period that you know that people have followed a pure carnivore diet? Well, I mean, what's the gallon?
Dr. Wiedemann, I think, 14 years or something, is she?
Yeah, but what was Maggie and
65 years, no?
65 years. Yeah,
65 years is the longest, I think, that I know of. Well, and probably our ancestors. So, get a lot of them. I've read that too. Too much protein. Okay. Yes, and here's from Dr. Kiltz. Thank you, Dr. Kiltz, for coming in. Just a quick hello to all. I can't stay. I've got to run. Thank you for doing these lives. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiltz. We appreciate you. You're awesome. So there we go. I caught up on that. Dr. Kiltz can think we're big time.
Yeah, ignoring it, man. Todd never talks to me. Never acknowledges that I'm watching his channel.
But Dr. Kiltz is awesome. Shout out to him, and he goes check out his podcast in the mornings. It's fantastic. 5 a.m. Yep. Oh, there we go. Deb just got with us. What is the bone broth powder that you use, Lindy? That's what she's asking.
Oh, well, let me find a link for it.
I appreciate it, Deb. She's going to find a link right now.
Bone broth. There we go. I get it's a collagen enriched one, and I'll pop it in the chat. I don't know if you can do that in your Insta.
If you pop it, if put it on the screen if you
And
can.
then we'll put it up.
Yeah.
And I do have a code, Limitless, gives you I think $5 off or something like that.
There we go.
So,
yep. So right there on the screen, you will see her URL and her code for the bone broth. I'm sorry, you'll have to. So there's an app for Android and Apple that you can take pictures and it'll actually grab and make a clickable link out of URLs on the screen now, which is pretty handy. But that way you don't have to write it down. But that is the link to the bone broth. And
yeah. There's not a lot of flavor in it. I like to add my salt. And if you've got like different smoked salts, I've got like a Vegemite salt I buy nearby. Just adding that salt, that's actually really nice. And then a bit of butter for a bit of fat and blitz it up. It's a nice drink. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Saves me, not having coffee. I don't like to have coffee every morning. So I keep that for special occasions. But this is beautiful on a warm, like a winter's day.
That's awesome. Yeah, Kelly was going back to that. They were done with cravings, but now they kick back in. So, but that's good because now you know the path to getting rid of the cravings again. You just gotta walk it, and then when you're there, it's going to be a lot of encouragement to not lose your progress because it's that it's not worth it.
This is why you don't have one cookie, because the cravings come back and they're hard to beat.
Yeah, 100%. Saved by Carnivore. I'm 2.5 years carny and lost sugar cravings in first week. Now I get cravings, so I get plain yogurt mixed with water and Celtic salt, and I still lose weight. That's awesome.
Oh, yogurt with salt. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. That's awesome. Great tip. What does gout smell like? Well, I'm not saying that I know what it smells like. What I'm saying is that seed oil cooked in restaurants sound like something that gout would smell like. something with the word gout should smell like what seed oil smell like. That's what I was getting at. I'm not sure what it smells like. I've never gotten into my gout joint to get a whiff, but I'm pretty sure that anything with the name of gout sounds strong and pungent, which is exactly what the seed oil permeates in those restaurants. I love my air fryer steak from Frozen. Good Lord, I will pray for you people. It comes out perfect for me every time. Oh, perfect is, I guess, subjective.
When your brain has been focused on food for 50 years and you're just being consumed by food, it is so nice to have that freedom to not to worry about wanting to cook. Like, I'm the laziest cook now. I don't need to be in the kitchen for hours or, just make it easy, keep it easy. So I'm with you. Frozen all the way. Sorry.
You guys have fun with your little Frozen cult.
That's all right. It's all good. Hi, honey.
There you go. His name's Michael. That's awesome, Scott. Get Zaza Fit on Instagram says, "Hey there, seen y'all on live the other day with Bella. I'll be transitioning over to Carnivore here next 2 weeks. I'm so excited. Well, congratulations. Get Zaza
awesome.
Fit. Definitely keep us posted on your progress. We can't wait to hear the amazing updates and transformations." So
yes.
Let's see, Isabella. I get up. My brain's not working. I set up personal rules. I just won't break. I just know that one bite of sugar means 100 pounds of weight gain. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a dang good way to see it. It's happened twice, and I will not do it again. That's awesome, Isabella. Yeah, and me and Michael and Lindy, we've all said that too, so I know exactly where you're coming from. We know the quick descent into into the backside of the 300, 400, 500-pound gains. So I absolutely hear you.
We just look at food and we put on weight, day away.
For sure. Charlie, hi, wondering Miss Lindy and to thanks for being here. Thanks so much, Charlie. Go on, fellas. I'm good as a moderator. If I break my carnivore, I wouldn't test it too far. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I envy you, Crystal. It would be nice to be like that, but yeah, not all of us can.
All right, see what you two have caused over here on Instagram. Says Toward 14. He says, "Hey, I'm wondering about this frozen steak and air fryer deal. What type of air fryer should I get, and is it non-toxic?"
Ninja.
I have the Ninja, and the reason I bought that is because I have birds, and if you use Teflon around birds, it can kill them. So Ninja all the way for me. There's no Teflon. I think they're the best. They've got a nice iron grill, and there's 3 parts that I can take out, and I stick them in the dishwasher and wash it. It's so easy to clean. So for me, the Ninja. I don't get points for saying that or anything. I do love the product. Yeah.
For sure. It's a good one. The Ninja 6-in-1 is my favorite too.
Is that what I've got? I didn't even know. Because if you look up the models now, it's an old, mine's old.
Yeah, it's a Ninja 6-in-1 XL grill air fryer combo. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And don't forget to get a shovel and a coffin so that when you get your steaks out, you can go bury them in the backyard. If you're doing it from frozen, if you're doing it from, I'm just joking. It's just an opinion, but.
Well, I just stick it in on preheat. I just don't even preheat. While it's preheating, the frozen steak's in there, and then when it does its 10-minute, add your food, I flip it over for 2 or 3 minutes, and it's done. I get a nice sear. The inside's still, it's still rare, which is the way I like it.
Everything makes me cry about that when you say that.
I'm sorry, but
see the problem is when it's frozen, that means that there's water in it, and the water is not evaporated out or dried off the surface. So as it defrosts in the air fryer, the water comes to the surface, and you're going to steam the surface of the meat and not get a good sear, and you're not going to get that Maillard effect. And that's what breaks my heart about it, because
I'm fine with it. I can't stand it when people put baking paper in it, which is also toxic for birds. So I don't use baking paper. But my daughter does it at her place. She'll put the steak on it, so she doesn't have to wash the air fryer, and it boils in the juices because the juices don't drip down.
Right.
So don't do the baking paper. I think that's not right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Don't do the baking paper and don't cook. It would be one thing.
All right.
No, it's not. She hasn't eaten enough well-seared steaks yet. Once she's eaten enough well-seared steaks.
I haven't really had a proper seared steak. I have tried the seared kangaroo because Kerry made it for me 2 weeks ago, and that didn't go down very well for any of us.
It's kangaroo. Don't blame that on the Maillard effect. That's a kangaroo. So it would be one thing if you dry brined the steak first, got the moisture, got the water out of it, then froze it, then vacuum sealed it so that there's no humidity in the air around the steak, and then froze it, and then put it in frozen. That would probably be okay, because the idea is that you can cook the outside a lot hotter and longer to get a sear on it before the inside gets overcooked. But
we're going back to the whole preparation things. I need to take my steak out a couple of days in advance and dry it in the fridge to get to that point. And I forget, I don't want to plan for 2 or 3 days ahead.
Well, I don't know why you have I guess my point is why do you have them in the freezer?
because I just take it out when I want it and eat it. Like it's
Right,
quick.
but why don't you just put it in the fridge?
I don't like it sitting in the fridge for too long, and my daughter puts all her crap in the fridge as well. Like I don't have a specific meat fridge like you do. So yeah, she puts things in without Glad wrap sometimes, and I don't want it to soak up the smells that she may
I know
have
what I'm
with
getting
her
you for Christmas.
weird food.
I've tried to stop meals out with friends. I can still meet or coffee for coffee. I just don't take my hot water, and no, I haven't discussed carnivore with with my friends. Yeah, I hear you. No worries. Let your results do your talking. Like just, and then when they ask you for, ask you about it or whatever, you'll have the results because they'll understand then.
Yeah. And instead of going out for a meal, why not go for a walk in the park with a friend? We've got a lake nearby, and I met another carnivore lady. We just went around, walked around the lake, and it was just nice, a real slow walk and a bit of a chat. Then
For
if you
sure.
want to stop, take a coffee with you and sit on a park bench or go to the beach and pop your feet in the water. It doesn't have to revolve around food with your friends. So it wouldn't hurt them to do that as well.
Right. Debbie says a friend of mine has that one of those XL Ninjas and loves it. It's on my wish list. Debbie also says I must go. Thank you all for your time. I'll catch you the rest in the replay. Thanks so much, Debbie. Have a good day.
Thanks, Debbie.
All right. Let's see. Exactly that, Todd. I'm not going to pay double to eat something that's overcooked for me. Yeah, I hear you. 100%. Debbie, question. What can I do for meat aversion? So dairy or fasting, in my personal opinion. Yep. Those are my two go-tos.
And just change up the way that you're cooking meat. Like if you're having a steak, try something slow cooked with some, a broth or
just make a stew out of it.
Yeah, or eggs and bacon, deviled eggs, salmon.
For sure. Toward 14 says, laughing out loud, you guys are funny. Thanks. I'm about 3 months into my carnivore journey so far, down 18 pounds. Congratulations, Frog. Yeah. Keep up the great work. All right. Let's see here. Cranky Carnivore, poor AJ is affected with vegan brain damage. Exactly, John. Exactly. Couldn't say it better myself. He's got a little bit of the tisms right now. Carnivore healed my diabetes, chronic leukemia. Wow. All right, that's awesome.
No,
by the way,
that's
and I've lost 100 pounds. Chronic leukemia. So, yeah. See, that's one thing I love hearing that. That's one of my bigger. I don't know, whatever. Not regrets, but it's just something. If I had a remote and I could rewind it, that's what my dad died of, was leukemia. And I was like, man, if we would have known about carnivore, I think it might have turned things around. So congratulations. That's huge. I'm so glad to hear
well done. So happy.
Awesome.
Sandra says, go, Michael.
Oh, yeah, on the troll.
Yeah.
Got a little bit passionate there, Michael.
For sure. Dropping elbows, taking names. What can I make for an appetizer for school Christmas tea? That way I have one thing I can eat. What could I make for an appetizer for school Christmas?
Oh, the deviled eggs. We went to a Christmas party last year and with the family, and they ordered pizzas, and I took a plate of deviled eggs. Everyone went for my eggs. I got half an egg out of my whole plate. So with some bacon, if you like.
Bacon?
You can do different types. Yeah.
Crispy bacon on top of it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so bacon, egg salad is good. I do that. You can make beef jerky. You can make meat sticks.
Make little meatballs.
Yeah,
and then you can make if you like sour cream, you can do some kind of a dip with that. I think you do like a horseradish and something, don't you, Todd?
Yeah, sour cream, horseradish sauce. You can make it. Also, I think if a guy got a little wild and crazy, you can make a little like beef and lamb balls and a little tzatziki sauce. I think I don't think there'd be anything wrong with a little tzatziki.
No, that's
And I also
Greek yogurt.
stuffed my little meatballs with cheese. So when you bite into it, the cheese oozes out. So that's also another. Oh,
And
here
another,
we go.
and another good one. So cream cheese. So follow me here. You get a jalapeno, you pickle it, you hollow it out because pickled jalapenos, that gets when you pickle them, it gets rid of the oxalates. So de-seed and hollow out a jalapeno. You pickle those little suckers. You fill them full of cream cheese. You wrap them in bacon, and then you fry them in the air fryer.
There you go.
That's a win all day long. Those things are delicious. Yeah. So
there you go.
I just made myself hungry.
With the meatballs and horseradish sauce and the jalapeno poppers, yeah.
Tzatziki's, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the fact that sugar is being added to everything at this rate, people will totally be addicted to sugar. Exactly.
Everybody is already, and they don't even know it.
But we're winning this race right now. We are gaining steam, and this is why a little old me can get thrown in the gulag here on YouTube because they are that terrified of the truth, and they're that terrified of people waking up because they know you don't have to hide from. If you're on the right side of the truth, you don't have to hide from dissenting opinions.
No.
That's why this medical misinformation crap can take a hike. I gave up sugar overnight after being diagnosed with an A1C of 14.7. It's 5.8 today. That's awesome.
Well done.
Hercules.
It's awesome.
Sandra. I will take my lesson from these three. Seeing is believing. Thanks so much, Sandra. And
thanks, Sandra.
yeah, and you're having such great results. I mean, this is how we're going to do this and how we're going to win this war on the ground is we're all just going to be undeniable results. Let's all just be undeniable results. They can have their peer-reviewed epidemiology studies and we'll just be thriving and kicking ass and taking names. And then we can see what matters in the real world, you know? They can lie all day long. I'm a total sugar addict. But the question is, do you have to be forever? And I don't. I say the answer is no.
No.
It sounds like your body is craving higher protein, Todd. I can't imagine such thing because if you would see the meat that I eat, you wouldn't believe it. Okay, I just went through 20. No, because I had one today. All right, so in 7 days, I went through 26 pounds of ribeye and 6 pounds of shrimp and 2 pounds of scallops. So put that in your protein pipe and smoke it because there's a lot of protein there. I put the protein away. So I don't know. I like if I'm eating for my projected lean body mass, that means I'm going to be 350 pounds of lean body mass or something crazy. Oh my lordy, I better be 5% body fat because otherwise I'm going to be a biggin. Let's see. Scallops wrapped in bacon seared on barbecue equals bliss. That is so funny that you say that, Sandra, because today I did something that only a fat kid would dream up. I took a picture of it, but I made the scallops and the shrimp and I poached it in butter. And then I also had a steak with it. So I put my steak in, but I have to warm up my Ninja air fryer. And today I was like, you know, it'd be cool as while my air fryer is warming up. What happened? I lost her. Lady down. While my air fryer was warming up, I've been using that time for my air fryer to preheat. I put strips of bacon in there while it's preheating because it cooks those perfect because they're thin.
Right.
And it seems how it's got to preheat anyhow. So I put 8 strips of bacon in my air fryer, and then I chopped up the bacon and I made a bowl of butter poached scallop and shrimps with bacon crumbles all inside.
On top. Sounds good.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. I mean, just fat kid heaven. It was just wonderful.
Well, after all that waving you did in that parade last night, you were hungry.
I was hungry. I worked out my appetite. Oh man, that's funny. let's see. C1's right. What am I missing here?
Oh, for your scallops and your shrimp.
Oh yeah, the C1s. Yep. Correct. Yeah, not the potatoes.
Yeah, right.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Scallops are an excellent source. Oh, sorry, Lindy just sent us a message. Her computer went down. She's working on getting back on. Scallops are an excellent source of selenium, a mineral important for reproductive function, proper thyroid function, and DNA production. That's awesome. Okay, well, reproduction. I don't think any of that's going on right now. So it's gonna have to be the DNA or the thyroid that's calling. So that's awesome. All right. I don't agree with the statement once an addict, always an addict. Thank you. I don't either. I really don't. And I'm not saying maybe maybe that is true for some people. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really lucky, and I could be really fortunate. That could be it too. Or because 2 years ago I wasn't, I would have agreed that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be stuck with this forever. That's what it felt like. But what I would like people to think is, but maybe it doesn't have to be that way, and maybe I have to be super vigilant and understand that I'm not a moderator, and I have to be an abstainer and understand that I can still be easily re-addicted to it, but also maybe at the same time I can have hope and be encouraged that I can get free from it and put it behind me once and for all. That's what I would like to see. That's what I'd like to know the answer to, because I think that's a real possibility, because I feel like I'm experiencing that right now. It's only been 2 years basically, but we'll see. And I'm going to keep showing you guys. Lindy, if you have an electric outlet outside, Amazon sells hot plates for $16 to fry up and butter your scallops. Ooh, no smell inside. That would be sweet. I might get one of those. That sounds like a great idea. Todd, liver and shrimp in 2 different meals before I had lab work done raised my uric acid from 7.3 to 8.6. I was surprised. I love them both. Rarely had shrimp, but liver had once a week. Huh. That's crazy. Well, I used to have gout problems from uric, which they say is a uric acid problem, but I haven't had it. So we'll see. I'll let you know if I have any gout flare-ups or anything, because I haven't had it since Carnivore. So that'll be interesting. I have heard addicts are hardwired that way. So when Carnivore rewires us, shouldn't that mean we're no longer an addict because we were rewired to be non-addicted? Yeah, to be a non-addict. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I feel like that if if we can use our behavior and our environment and our actions to rewire us neurologically in our brain, that basically turns us into our actions, right? Turns us into a product of our actions, let's say. Then if we change the actions in the environment, shouldn't we be able to, just like Tim's saying, rewire so we're not? I mean, you'd think that that's possible.
Yeah, you would think so.
Right. I mean, if we're malleable.
I'm no longer addicted. Are you, Todd? Think about it.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
I'll have a thought once in a while or something pop in my head, but that's just, it's just a thought. It doesn't mean like I got to go and get it. But I don't think that I'm addicted like I was.
No.
I don't have the cravings no more like I used to.
For sure. That's what I'm saying too. Like, and literally that's why I really liked what happened yesterday with the deep fried Oreos, because I didn't know they were coming. I wasn't prepared for it. I was completely off guard.
What about the smell from
them? They actually smell good. I'm not going to lie. They smelled good. But even knowing that smell of, because it smelled sweet and like hot fresh donuts is what it smelled.
Oh yeah, fresh.
That's, I mean, that we all remember what that smelled like. But even when that hit me, because I smelled it and I was like, oh, that, because it was kind of familiar because it was like right here. And I looked down and she goes, deep fried Oreos, anybody? And I was like, oh my gosh. And immediately, like, it just, like, I was kind of repulsed from it. I was like,
Right.
those smell good, but those are Oreos that are all chemicals. That's pancake batter, which is all junk. That's seed oil, that's soybean oil. That's all this crap and just doused in sugar. I was like, oh my gosh. And so never once. And then I realized about as fast as that happened, I realized, oh, that's really good news that was my honest subconscious reaction to it because, and I'm like, I'm noting this down because that to me is kind of proof that that maybe maybe I'm not an addict anymore at all. But we will see. Did you doing better, Lindy?
Yeah, sorry, my computer battery, something wrong with this cable, I think. It keeps going orange. It's green again now. Sorry.
You're good.
Very good. Hopefully I survive.
We're docking your payloads, Lindy.
Story of my life. There we go. See how that goes.
Okay, so once you're hooked on crack, meth, heroin, it'll always be just waiting for you to slip up and then you're back where you started. Okay, but is that not true for anything that you can get addicted to? Like, let's say, because you said once you're hooked on it, what if you're not hooked on it? How did you get hooked on it the first time? Like, so, I mean, I can't see the difference from where I'm standing from being addicted, like getting addicted to something for the first time and getting re-addicted. And it's for some reason in my mind, what people are saying is that if you get re-addicted to something, then you were never not an addict. And I'm like, well, how is that any different from the first time you got addicted to it? Does that mean that we were then that would put us in a perpetual state of all of us being an addict to everything that we would ever have a propensity to being addicted to had we tried it? Because you said it's just waiting for a slip up. That's another way of saying it's just waiting for you to try it. So to me, it's not, why did you slip up? If you know that it takes you to hell, to me, you're an addict if you can't resist the temptation, then you're an addict. But if the temptation doesn't have a hold on you and you would have to make a conscious decision to take it, because maybe you get talked into the fact that I quit it once, I can quit it again. I kind of like the feeling, like if you talk yourself into it, maybe what, I don't know.
You gotta remember where you were when you were taking that stuff before, even with all the food and all that stuff. How did it make you feel before? Or if you got sick from, like we had people tonight with the Halloween candy and they got all sick from it and stuff like that. You got to remember that. For me, I keep a picture of when I was at my heaviest on my fridge. And every time I open that fridge up, no matter if I'm going in there for Carnivore or whatever I'm going in there for, I see that picture and it remembers where I was, and I don't want to go back to that.
Right.
So you got to keep that memory too of where you were and where you are at today.
Exactly. No, I think that this is funny. Exactly, Tim. Tim says, Todd, the reason you made yourself hungry is you're an addict. Laughing out loud, just kidding. But Tim, you actually bring up a good point, right? Now, was I an addict or did I just tempt myself? Like literally, like to me, that's a temptation. But if you don't act on the temptation and you have the ability, I'm not even going to say the willpower, but if you have the ability to not act on it, and especially with ease, or even like a subconscious reaction, like an autonomic reaction, to be even kind of repulsed by it and be like, no, that's where I feel like it's the opposite of, like, I feel like you're finally getting free of it. Now, if you put yourself in an environment to keep tempting yourself over and over and over again, and you start to romanticize and think about it, the idea of, well, remember how good they tasted, remember remember how good the high was, and remember those times that I had, and you start, you know, like, I don't know, exciting those memories and stuff, and you entertain it. Maybe that's what they're trying to say by, well, if you haven't tempted yourself. But I don't agree with that. I don't really agree with that thinking, but maybe that's the definition. Maybe I'm just thinking of it different. I generally look, I know that smarter people than me are saying that what I'm saying is not true. So I totally get that and I respect it. So likely all that I'm saying is make me understand, and also likely just like on the, this is my honest opinion on it. I think that me and Phil on the topic of your why, I just think I agree with him far more than I disagree with him. I just think that I relate to that question totally different than how Phil's meaning it. I think, you know, I mean it on a very surface level of your diet. Like, I want to live for my family. I don't think that's enough, because you could want that, and then if you didn't have carnivore, that wouldn't be good enough. But on Phil's on a much higher plane, saying your why is all the reasons that brought you to carnivore, and so that's why it keeps you carnivore, is because that's what got you here, because you kept looking until you found the answer. Now that might be true, and I could agree with that, right? Because my why wasn't good enough in the linear length of time when I was trying a high protein diet or all the calorie restricted diets. It wasn't good enough. I failed. But when I got to carnivore, then it was. So that means that I put the onus on carnivore being the mechanism that keeps me carnivore. But he's saying, no, your why, your overall why that you've had since your developing years got you to keep looking until you got to carnivore and not give up. So probably, I don't know, on the overarching side of things, yes. But I'm just saying the connotation on a surface level in a carnivore group, that your why keeps you carnivore, people aren't going to look at it at the long, big, linear uh, overhead view, the 30,000-foot view. They're going to look at it like, if I just remember that I'm doing this for my family, then I won't fall off the wagon. It's like, no, you have to implement all the tools, because your why is not good enough to do it without the diet that's going to pay you back. Does that make sense at all?
I guess.
Oh, good Lord.
I
My,
don't know. I'm kind of mixed with all of this. There's a lot of people out there struggling, and when you get the wind knocked out of your sails, it is hard to stay on track, and I get it. Whether you're carnivore or whether you've got an alcohol addiction or whatever addiction it is, if you've got the wind knocked out of your sails, it is very easy to fall off. But what will make you stay on track, and you feel your best when you're not doing the alcohol, and you're avoiding the carbs, and you just gotta feel that feeling, and think, I don't want to get into that spiral and go into that guilt mode and feel crap again. And it is hard. It's a constant battle, and sometimes like, I still think you're on a bit of a honeymoon, and I feel like I was like that up until the beginning of the year. I was on a honeymoon as well, and thought, I can do anything. I can go and sit in the place and food be put in front of me, and I was so happy that I didn't feel any pull towards it. But now, with what's going on, I have to work harder to keep on track. Like, the thoughts are still there, and people say just one's not going to hurt you, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, probably right. I can get back on track. I know what to do tomorrow, but I have to really push myself not to break, and it's hard. But I know I'll get past it, and as things settle down, I'll build my walls back up, and I'll feel like Superman again, and be crushing it again. But you're going to have your highs and lows, and I think
It's a wave.
it's a roller coaster ride for sure.
yeah, well, and I like it, and I like that we're documenting it right now, because if I go off the rails, I'll be the first one to eat crow and eat my boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here in a year or 2 years or 5 years or whatever it be. But I want to document the process of how it feels, what I'm thinking, and see what it is. This is going to be handy. I mean, we are the anecdotal experiment right now.
All right. Well, look at the three of us here. This is the longest diet for any of us, right? That's has been
Yeah.
successful and working for us. And look at
Yeah.
all the ones that we tried in the past. None of them lasted. So,
For sure.
you know, I
Yeah.
think we found something that's working. I know
For
it's
sure.
working for me.
Oh, it absolutely is working. And
Yeah.
we know, like for me now, I know that if I go off track, I will end up 800 pounds again in a snap.
Same.
Not
Same
a
with me.
problem. But I don't want to get there. And it's just a little bit harder to stay on track now than it was 6 months ago.
I know.
That's all I'm saying, you know, and that'll pass and it'll be easy again. But just occasionally your guard goes down and then you have those thoughts again and you have to just work a little bit harder to stay on track.
Now for
And-
you, Lindy, you just came out of winter for you. So now it's a completely different time of year for you now. Now you're going to start seeing changes for you again because spring's there for you.
Yeah.
You're
and
going
I
to be
think winter-
outside more. You're going to be more active. Winter for me
Yeah.
last year sucked. It was hard.
Yeah.
You want to sleep more. You don't want to. It's hard to fast. You can't fast at all during the winter.
Yeah.
I'm going to try
miss
something
the
this
sun.
winter. Yeah, no, I know.
I really miss the sun. Yeah, and it's been a terrible winter here. I've been stuck inside the house and just looking forward to getting out. So I think it's going to change now.
It's going to change for you.
Definitely feel a lot better.
Yeah, you were in the 70s today.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Josephine, sadly, I went off track 3 days ago. I have been so sick with headaches and vomiting, never eating that crap again, which is good because every time it makes me sick. Yeah, I've not tried it again. I'm feeling okay. That's awesome,
It
Josephine.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but I'm glad you're feeling better.
It's not awesome that she got sick.
Not awesome you got sick. Awesome that you're feeling better.
But you see what it does to you.
For sure. Yeah, awesome that you see what it does to you. Awesome that you have that point of reference again, And it really is about being mindful and kind of logging, even mentally logging those points of reference and put them on the conscious surface of your brain that you're going to pull it up because you're kind of building. Look, Jordan Peterson talks about which, I always have to apologize because I bring that up a lot, but Jordan Peterson talks about it all the time that what anxiety is and what these problems are that kind of bring up chaos in our life is that when we fall into a pit, unless we our brain wants us to make a conscious exercise of going through how to figure out the dangers that got us into that situation. How did we fall into the pit? Because it's got a utilitarian kind of function in that it doesn't want you to fall into future pits. So it wants you to learn from what you just did. How did you get, how did you just fall into this hole? And so he says a lot of what anxiety is that we don't want to look at it because it's kind of a traumatic thing or it kind of sucked or whatever. And so we don't want to deal with it. So we just throw it in the back. But when you start having a pile of these things, a pile of these pits that you fell into, but you're not working them out in your head and understanding how you got there, then you're not going to, your brain's not going to let it go. And it's going to sit there and bug you. And all of a sudden it's going to manifest as anxiety, and it's going to manifest as, well, that didn't work. I can't do that. That diet's no good. You're going to start thinking there's no hope. It's going to start wearing on you type of thing. Where if you go back, so all I'm saying is just by that small exercise of putting it at the front of your brain, thank you, by putting it at the front of your brain and using that next time, you are using a pretty powerful tool that really does go, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And it starts rewiring your brain. So anyhow, that's what I think about that. Having a bite of cake on your birthday is not being kind to yourself. It's harming you. Amen to that. I think people often look for ways to sabotage themselves if they haven't dealt with the reason they overeat. Bravo. You just said way better what I just said in that long rambling explanation of falling into pits. Exactly.
Yeah.
They self-sabotage if they haven't dealt with the reason that they overeat. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. B-Dog. I got here from Atkins 18 years ago. Congratulations. There's no doubt that keto and ketovore is harder than straight carnivore, 100%, because of the cravings you hold on to when you're keto. See, B Dog, this is a fantastic example, right? Because I would say that you bring up a great point because keto and ketovore was the example of me still being an addict, but trying to use the keto and ketovore as a means of dealing with the addiction, where carnivore for me feels like complete freedom from it.
Yeah, I felt like a failure on ketovore or keto because keto lasagna, keto cheesecake, they're all my comfort foods disguised as keto. And so if you have it's all healthy, so you can have a double portion. It's just they're not fixing the root cause of the problem. You
For
just
sure.
crave all the time.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Grey Wolf, bouts of depression and lack of self worth can cause us to get off track, also 100%.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Your mind likes to play games with you.
For sure.
That's why it's hard to stay on track sometimes. You just got to fight your own head.
You got
You're our own worst enemy. Yeah.
That is a fact. Why, when I only eat eggs, beef, butter, tallow, sea salt, zero carbs, no dairy, am I out of ketosis every morning? Oh, that's easy. When I get back in the afternoon, I stop eating 7 p.m. every night, fast until 10. Well, that's cortisol output. That's a dawn phenomenon. So if you're out of it every morning, wait. How long does it take for that to go down? It's usually like 6 hours, and it usually starts between three and 4
You
in the
should be
morning.
more concerned about what your HbA1c is. That's like a snapshot of the last 3 months of your glucose levels. That's a number you should be more concerned about.
Yeah, for sure. The whole ketosis thing and all that stuff. So, and there's also out of ketosis. There's also another thing too. If your body is healing and using ketones very well, you also don't blow as many ketones because your body's utilizing them, and it's not in your blood anymore because you're burning them up because your metabolism's higher and your brain is running off ketones as well. So, ketones are the byproduct of burning fat as fuel, right? Amino acids as fuel, but also, so there's basically three things that can cause it. Is one, actually four. One, you might not be in ketosis because you're not fat adapt. Two, it can be the dawn phenomenon where your body puts out cortisol in the morning, causes an insulin spike. Three, it could be because your body really healed up and you are using up your ketones faster, so there's not much to measure. And four, it can be from gluconeogenesis, from eating too much protein and spiking your insulin, knocking you out of ketosis. Because if you eat too much protein, more than you can absorb, your body will turn it into glucose, and then it'll burn as a glucose in your muscles, and it'll still spike your insulin. So those are the four main reasons that those can happen. All right. I'm eating short ribs cooked in the air fryer from frozen. Delicious for me. You people, you need to go on a short bus or something. No,
Tim, you need to save those comments for when Todd's fasting. Then you can throw it at him.
Yes.
When I'm extra irritable. I've heard people say that cooking meat from frozen helps with. Yes, that's 100%. In fact,
Yes.
we'll just go right to the expert on that, which is Missy or Alyssa. Cooking frozen is best for people with histamine issues. All Maillard reaction in itself has higher histamine, and longer thawing and cooking times make way more histamine. I am not an expert in that at all, and I believe that 110%. I'm talking about flavor here.
Yeah, but when food's not important anymore, you're literally eating to survive. I don't survive to eat anymore. So flavor.
But if you don't have a histamine response, Maillard is way more flavorful. And why not have a little bit of fun too? That's all I'm saying. This doesn't have to be the humdrum bee diet. We can live it up.
No. But when you do have like visitors and you do a beautiful smoked prime rib, which I can't afford to do every day, I look forward to that. It almost feels like a guilty pleasure because I'm having
Sure.
something. And like Bella bought me 2 boxes of carnivore bars, which we can't get here in Australia. And I had one and I felt like I was in heaven. I thought, geez, this is so good. And I made it, this little bar, I made it last for ages because I felt like I was being naughty. But there's nothing, it's pure carnivore. So
Right?
I look forward to having a treat. And to me, a prime rib on the smoker or a carnivore bar is a treat. If I indulge in that every day, what have I got to look forward to?
Right.
For sure.
So if you look at it that way, yeah. Frozen all the way, baby.
Don't do it. You people are better than that. All right. Carnivore camping patriot. I use bleach-free baking paper, but I put it underneath the grill so it drips down and doesn't mess with the pan underneath. Yeah, there we go. But I don't cook on top of the paper. That's awesome.
No, I still like my dishwasher. Save a couple of pennies. It's going to be washed anyway. Yeah, but that works.
I'm not a meat mister. That's funny. I'm gonna try sous vide, but I love my steak on the grill or cast iron. Yeah, but you get the best of both worlds that way. It's just that you don't have to sear. You're just getting a sear on it, so just get it as hot as you can. But then you get the perfect cook temperature steak on the inside in a vacuum, so it's super tender, broke down. So if you dry it out and break down all the white tissue without overcooking it because it's so balanced, and you cook it in a vacuum, and so you keep all the moisture, and then you let it cool down, and then you sear it. Man, it's the best of all worlds. It's fantastic.
I regret throwing out my cast iron. I used it once and then washed it and it rusted, and I thought I'd wrecked it, so I threw it out. But
Man,
I got told later that I could have salvaged it.
Could have
But
saved it. Yep.
yeah,
for sure.
never mind. It was an expensive lesson.
I bet so. Melissa Willis, I don't even know if I could be carnivore without my air fryer. Neither me or my husband are cooks. I did just order a Schwank grill. Hopefully, it's cracked up to be. That'd be awesome.
Is that a brand, Schwank?
I don't know if it's a brand or if it's just like saying a Schwanky grill, like a nice one.
No, it's a grill. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it is a brand name.
Yep.
Cool. Sounds pretty schwanky.
Well, they get swag for the name for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cannot do my steaks in the air fryer. I treat myself to a what the heck is that? Solid Technic pan made from one piece of Aussie iron, weighs less than cast iron, but sears my steaks beautifully, worth every penny. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, can you post a link for us? Can you post links?
I don't know that she can.
Yeah, I do have a fry pan, but I don't like it. So I'm actually on the lookout for a new one. It's all the coatings come off. It's not Teflon. I think it's a Jamie Oliver brand, but it's still got something on it because it's wearing out. Because my husband cooks with it. I don't know what he does to it.
Well, he has to use a hammer and chisel to get the burnt stuff off the bottom of it.
I don't know what he does, honestly.
Yeah. Like, where do we put the napalm? I need to clean my skillet. Thank you guys for for all the ideas. I appreciate it. Well,
you're welcome, Debbie.
Awesome. Beth, I also want to try sous vide. It's worth it.
Well, it's good.
Yeah, I'd like to try it one day.
It's good.
But I don't want to invest in one. I want someone to make it for me before I invest.
When you come out, we'll do all the things. I'll cold smoke. So you cold smoke, like you get like a 25-pound brisket, cold smoke it for about 6 to 8 hours, and then sous vide it for 84 hours, and then sear it once you get it out. Ooh, those are good. You'll love that brisket. We'll have fun with that.
Sounds good. You
Thanks so
coming,
much.
Michael?
Absolutely. He's coming for the brisket.
Three
You know,
amigos.
I have this crazy well, I'll tell you later, but I have this crazy idea of trying to take a brisket and trying to butterfly it, kind of, right? You know how you roll it out? You kind of people do it with chicken, all right? Where you kind of make a meat roll out of it, where you cut it like a half-inch thick. Well, it's raw, and you kind of unroll it, and then trying to layer it with cream cheese and pickled jalapenos and roll it back up like a giant Swiss roll log, and then smoking it for hours on end and see what that does. I think it'd be delicious. What do you think?
Yeah, well, why don't we try? We're going to do some cooking on the Christmas holidays, aren't we? We'll do a cooking video.
Let me think about that. That might be really fun. I might want to try it with a smaller piece of meat in case it's a disaster, because that'd be a big disaster to have. But I want to do something just like that. I think it'd be really good.
I can always feed that basset hound.
Yeah, that little. If he gets any fatter, his little legs aren't going to keep his belly off the ground. Thanks so much for the help today. Got some great. Oh, perfect. All right, next one. I'm addicted to the steak and butter gang. That's awesome. I love them too.
Yeah, I think we're all addicted.
The guy in the hat in there, he's quite handsome. I know. Let's see. I know can actually moderate with.
I now can moderate with a.
Oh, my eyes are not working today. I now can actually moderate with a problem. With the problem, just not interested. Okay, yeah, you're not. Yeah, with no problem you can moderate, but you're not interested. Awesome. Yeah, and I mean I don't blame you, because why tempt fate, right? might as well stick with what's working. Are electrolyte powders essential to carnivore? Anyone experience headaches, nausea, hard heartbeat when consuming electrolytes for multiple days straight? Yes. Short answer is yes. You can get hard hard heartbeats, and even what do you call those? The out of rhythm heartbeats or whatever.
Heart palpitations.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have electrolytes. It's just everyone's different. So if you're experiencing that kind of stuff, you can try taking electrolytes. Others may be taking too much and have the same symptoms. So you just got to find your balance.
For sure. Amy, the reason I had food addiction is because I wasn't well nourished. Yeah, I believe so.
Well, none of us were nourished to 700 plus pounds and very malnourished. And I think that's where the cravings are, because your body's screaming out for food or nourishment, and we were giving it crap. So,
100%.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, isn't that just the way? It's so crazy to think. We're sitting here going, well, the doctors and big food and big pharma, they're the ones that are right. Of course, this body of ours doesn't know what the heck it's doing when it's sitting here screaming, eat. And we're like, oh, it's because we're broken, we're addicted. It's I have such a broken willpower. And meanwhile, they never tell us the truth, which is actually you don't just eat for empty fuel, you eat for nourishment. You eat for building blocks. And if unfortunately they come in the same delivery system. You're supposed to have well-balanced food has fuel and nourishment in it. They've just been giving us the fuel, right? And the worst of the fuel. Fuel that's actually poisonous, that our body deems so poisonous that it shuts down the ability to burn body fat, because it needs you to convert the glucose that's in the blood into fat to store it, to get it out of your blood so it doesn't cause organ damage and strokes. So they keep filling us up with that. Meanwhile, the body's like, okay, great. You just made us a little bit sicker and fatter today. Could you please give us some protein, some amino acids, some peptides, some, electrolytes? Could we have some things that our body needs so we could heal? Because that's what it's calling for. But then we have this bullshit from the doctors to say, oh, animal fat's bad for you and red meat's bad for you and all the things that your body's screaming for. So we go back and go, well, we got to eat the empty calorie carbohydrate, uh, carbohydrate crap again, and we feed it again, and we make ourselves a little bit sicker, and we make it stored as fat again, and it shuts down. It shuts down our ability to burn stored body fat again, and when also ruins our leptin sensitivity and all this crap. We just go in this vicious cycle, and then the doctors are like, well, we didn't tell you to eat the Snickers. And it's like, well, you kind of did, because you told me not to eat the meat and the protein, the animal products, and the fat. So by definition, you left us with just, fruit, crappy vegetables, and which are fruit and vegetables are also,
Sugar.
yeah, I mean, they're also carbohydrates that don't have protein or any of the things our body's calling for. So they are the same thing. They're not as quite as bad because it's in lesser amounts of it, so you can volume eat it. But it's still not shutting off the signal because we're not giving it what it needs. It's crazy.
Yeah, no off switch.
Yeah,
That off switch is the big thing.
Mm.
it's still off for me. So everybody's telling me if I'm not careful, I get all cocky about being not an addict, it's going to flip. But I'll tell you if it does, for sure. I just heard about the Vietnam veterans using heroin. Yeah, I heard this too. It was said that 90% tried heroin, but only 10% became addicted. Yep. Yeah, and also that the ones that thought they're addicted, when they came back, it was gone in a minute because it was not a substance addiction problem. It was an environmental addiction problem, meaning that your body left it alone when you weren't tempted, which is another whole conversation about that too on addiction, because is that the proper argument to have? Because I mean, even the Bible talks about not tempting yourself too, not leading yourself into temptation all the time, because it knows. I think that at a certain point, if you're constantly in an environment of temptation around it, because let's think about that for a minute. If you're just like, I changed my environment to be a carnivore environment to get the result that I want, the environment made the impact. You can say that I was tempting myself with a good environment of those foods. You could think about it that way too. And is it so bad to understand that our environment is going to make us think, it's going to tempt us, and if we're tempted from it, it's going to be in our mind, and it's going to require willpower and a lot of strength to keep from being tempted from it over and over again. And at a certain point, we might start to think about it and entertain ideas, and then that's going to get into whatever you want to call it, our heart or soul, whatever, that starts turning into actions because we've entertained it as an idea. And I think that's one of the reasons that even the Bible's, like, not preaching to anybody, but for a long time they've known to not meditate and lead yourself into temptation, because if that's the thing that you're putting in your eyes and your ears and your thoughts and you're meditating on it, you're going to eventually act on it, because that's how actions start, is in there. And so with that in mind, maybe this is why I've been so consistent with YouTube and these guys and SPG and doing all of those things, because that's my new environment. So that's probably one of the biggest factors, is because that's where my mind is. So if I am getting freed from that, and if my environment's changed, I think that's why it's changed so much, is because these are the conversations we have so much anymore, and not how am I not going to eat pizza tonight? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's worth considering too, I suppose. I'm an addict in beef and butter and eggs and salt. That's awesome. Yep. Good addiction. I think the addiction is the chemicals in the food. I just like cigarettes or vaping. These companies spend billions a year to get you to buy more of their products. They do, but let's take the nicotine, for example. I wasn't even trying to quit nicotine, and I'd used nicotine for 26 years. I never planned on giving it up. To be honest with you, I didn't think that it was all that bad for you. I know that's going to sound crazy, but I think that smoking nicotine is terrible for you. But I think that chewing nicotine, and probably just got some bad stuff, but they actually say there's not a whole lot of case studies where just chewing nicotine ever caused cancer. That the people that had mouth and throat cancer that they said were from chewing, those people also smoked. So at some point in their life had smoked for quite a period of time, and that they did a study on it. But anyhow, I'm not advocating for it because past the nicotine and all that stuff that's in the chew, there's about 1,000,010 chemicals in there, and at the very least, nicotine is very much like caffeine and coffee, and it screws up your signaling in your body. So it's not a good thing, and I'm not an advocate for it. But I am saying is I used to not worry about quitting it. It was not even on my radar to quit it. And when my body healed from carnivore, my body decided we were quitting, and it quit it. And that was last October 26th. So it's been over a year, almost a year and 2 months. Yeah.
Gee, that's gone so quickly, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I have not craved it even one time.
No. And you were tempted with it too. You found it in your car.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. I did, because I went back because I was driving again because I got healthy and I got my license back. Then I hopped in my car and there was Copenhagen in my car. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna. And then I was like, oh no, I'm not even craving it. And I opened up and I smelled it. It didn't even smell good, and I threw it out. I was not tempted. And I mean, I'm in Montana where everybody's walking around with a dip can, packing their dip can. And I mean, I could bum it off of anybody. And yeah, not tempted for that. So just saying, something is rewired this brain. Now, it might go back to Michael's point at first where it's really empty up here. So that was a small job to rewire. That should have very well been it too. All right. I agree with you and Dr. Phil. Willpower isn't enough. An active addiction. You can't reason with somebody who is high. Yeah, that's true. We need to detox first and get sober. Yeah, that I believe for sure. That's why we made fun of AJ's brain.
Yeah. Do you always feel worse when you're detoxing, don't you? So you can't expect to feel fantastic to start. You've got to detox first, get it out of your system, and then the good feelings happen.
100%. 100%. Wow. Thank you, NRAGs. I appreciate you so much. NRAGs on Rumble hit us with a $5 super chat. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Oh, it didn't come through through StreamYard. Okay.
No. Oh.
That's weird. Well, thanks so much, NRAGs. He said, I've tried to stop I've tried to stop meals out with friends. Oh, yeah, we did this one already because it came through StreamYard and take my hot water. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Henrix. I appreciate it so much. That's awesome. Let's see here. Moving on to the next one. Once sober, we can have a meaningful conversation about establishing a solid why. Priming is the tool, or how we get sober. Crowd out cravings and achieve sobriety from toxic foods. Yeah, amen to that. That's 100%. I agree with that, Charmaine. Melissa Willis. Todd, I agree with you. No other diet nourishes us back to health to be able to not be addicted. I agree 100%. I think that's 100% the case. And I know not to sound like a broken record but anybody that might not have heard me say it now after quite a few times of saying it, one thing that really drives that home for me is that study that came out about this is one of my favorite points, and I can't say the name of the bullcrap because of YouTube. But
one pick,
one pick, but I don't know if they'll know what that means. But the JLP, onesies, let's say those ones, all those ones that are for weight loss. On a standard American diet, if you just calorie restrict or fast, you're going to lose about 1/3 lean body mass and 2/3 fat and fluid. On the diet injections that shall not be named, you lose 2/3 lean body mass and 1/3 fat and fluid. And on carnivore, we tend to gain lean body mass while losing fat, which because it's healing, because it's nutrients, because it's building blocks, and we're not deteriorating healthy tissue because we don't care about weight. That's why carnivore is a healing diet, not a weight loss diet. But ultimately, it's going to give you the composition and eliminate you from the weight that you didn't want. It's just going to put other weight on you that you don't even know you do want, because it's going to make you stronger and healthier. You know, like look what I forget the gal's name in SBG, but this was fantastic. Phil brought it up the other day and it really struck Phil. But she has a mechanical heart valve. And on carnivore, so what happens with like mechanical, and I'm just repeating this, so if I say something stupid, forgive me, because I'm not a doctor. Wouldn't be the first time. It's not going to be the last. But apparently, the mechanical heart valve that opens and closes when your heart's beating, it beats up the red blood cells, the red blood cells in there, because it destroys them, because it's pinching them in that mechanical heart valve. So she was having to go in for red blood cell injections to replace those blood cells, because apparently the red blood cells come from the bone marrow in your bones, like in your spine or something. And anyhow, since carnivore, her red blood, she still has the mechanical heart valve, but she hasn't needed the red blood cell infusions, because her red blood cells are so healthy now, because they're so robust and made out of better building blocks and stronger, that the mechanical heart valve is not beating the heck out of those red blood cells. Okay. Yeah, that was Danielle with the heart valve. Yeah, isn't that incredible? Yes. So I mean, that right there is exactly what we're talking about right here. You can see that with the proper building blocks and dense nutrition that our body's utilizing, we want that kind of weight. Whatever extra weight those red blood cells and the marrow and the bones and stuff are weighing, now that they're made out of real properties and the real nutrients that our body needs in our bones and our tissue and our muscle, that's good weight, and you're not going to see it on a scale, but that's the kind of weight we want, and that's the things that are healing us. Is that's I believe is actually breaking our addictions. That's what I truly believe.
We've had that one.
Okay. Carnivore also changes mentally. That I think is key. Yeah, I believe so too, for sure. Well, how could it not? We've been starving for cholesterol for so long, and our brain's 70% cholesterol, and all of our hormones and brain chemistry depends on cholesterol, and the gut-brain connection is so important to proper brain function. And when you don't have cholesterol and amino acids in your gut, and you're putting all that junk in there, your gut microbiome's completely screwed up too. And when you're full of lactic acid and inflammation, you have inflammation on the brain sac that screws up your brain in addition to it. I mean, could we be any dumber for what we've been doing to ourselves for so long? Of course we couldn't think. Then thus explains AJ. I'm never going to get that one up, because it's just right there on every time. All right.
Where'd he go? He disappeared. Did you block him? Did you?
No.
He
just told him the facts.
He moved on. Wow. You must have hurt his feelings.
Oh, shucks. Well, go have a carrot and make it all better. And as they say, don't isolate, stay connected. 100%.
Yeah.
No, AJ, we were all impaired at one point, so come on over. We'll feed you a steak, and I'm sure you're a good dude. There has to be a limit to protein before it would turn into glucose in the body. There has to be a limit to protein before it can. Yeah, it is. For most people, it's around 40 grams per meal, right? So that's per digestive cycle of about 3 hours. However, if you prime and you get your gut digestion in shape, I've been able to get about 70 to 80 grams of protein in before I notice a glucose spike, before it goes to gluconeogenesis. So, but they say to start out at around 40 per meal, you know. But the thing is, then that means that even for an average size person, you're going to need at least 3 to 4 meals a day. And so the other question is, how much do you really care if you spike your glucose a little bit for the right reasons? This is why you shouldn't care too much about being into ketosis. This is why you cannot concentrate on losing weight. You just need to stop it with like, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but if weight is your only goal, this is a healing diet. You need to let your glucose spike if you need it to get the protein in, because your body needs the protein and it needs the nourishment. And then once your body heals, it's going to take care of the weight on its own. So you don't want to sell yourself short and slow down the healing process because we're worried about arbitrary things like ketosis, because we think we want to force our body to learn to burn body fat on our timeline.
Right.
We don't need to do that. We need to concentrate. Like, the fact of the matter is, you're going to be eating a lot of dietary fat and protein, and your body needs it for the building blocks to heal and to get your body functioning right. And you really need that signaling. You really need the proper functioning mitochondria. You really need the proper functioning gut health and brain health. So, and lymphatic system, you need that healing support. So you need to just focus on that. But the fact of the matter is, you're not going to be burning a ton of body fat when you're doing that, because you're going to be burning a bunch of dietary fat that you're eating, but you need that. But once your body heals, then it's going to start chipping away at that, and you can go into the fasting more rigorously and too. But you got to heal first. So
Yeah.
seasonal changes, 100%. Michael, you should spend winter in Texas. Just saying. Yes, you should.
Yep.
I've been thinking about it. Like, look, I was mad at the heat. I was mad at the heat in Texas this summer, but I'll tell you what. I'm going to tell you a joke my dad told me about polar bears, because I'm freezing my tail off right now because I'm 300 pounds lighter than I was most winters that I've been in going through this. But my dad's...
And the cold hasn't even really started yet, Todd.
No, it hasn't. And I'm telling you, I have three coats and 2 flannel jackets sitting over here because, and I went and bought my deerskin gloves, and I have cotton inserts inside my deerskin gloves, and I just ordered a jacket that takes a battery because it's got heating coils inside the jacket too, because I am in cold as crap. Because as it would turn out, if you take 300 pounds of fat off a person, you feel the cold quite a bit more.
Right.
Turn out. So, but one of my dad's favorite jokes is a new polar bear gets born, and a little baby polar bear goes to Mama polar bear and says, "Mom, are you sure I'm a polar bear?" Mom polar bear says, "Of course, son, you're a polar bear. Now go play outside." And polar bear goes outside and comes back in. He goes over to Dad polar bear and says, "Dad, are you sure I'm a polar bear?" And he goes, "Yes, of course, son, you're a polar bear. Now go outside and play." Polar bear comes back in. He goes up to Mom. He goes, "Mom, I know I asked you this before, but I just want to make sure I heard you right. Am I really a polar bear?" And he says, "Yes, son, you're absolutely a polar bear. Now stop bugging me and go outside. You should be playing with your friends." Polar bear goes outside and he comes back and he goes, "Dad, I have got to be sure. Are you 100% sure I'm a polar bear?" He goes, "Yes, son, you are a polar bear. Why do you keep asking us?" He goes, "Because I'm freezing my ass off out there." That is how I feel right now. I'm not so sure I'm a Montanan right now.
Yeah, we'll get the sun streaming through here. My heater's going at the moment. I'm feeling it.
I feel like coming and visiting you. I'm not even kidding. It's getting ridiculous. Thank you, Lindy, Todd, Michael, for helping us all out. Oh, appreciate it. Thank you so much, AP. We appreciate
Thanks,
you guys
Dave.
for being here. And all your comments and all your guys' NSVs and all your advice in the chat. This is what the community is about. We are not the community. No. We're just the moderators of this small corner of it. You guys are the community, and you guys are what brings everybody here.
Yep. We love hearing your stories.
Yeah, sure. We'll help each other out.
For sure. All right. I've been eating 2 meals a day for several days. I was drinking 1 serving of Redmond's hydration for each meal. I also take a magnesium supplement. Awesome.
Cool.
Let's see. One person wrote, with meat, you eat until you're full, and with carbs, you eat until you're sick. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of saying it,
Yeah, and a few hours later, you're still hungry with the carbs.
for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see here. Jules says live chat usually disappears after live stream is over. Comments will go below the video and be permanent. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so she's handling. Okay, that's what that was about. Thanks so much. And Todd, why would a person want to see if they are no longer addicted? Yeah, I don't know. I think right. It would be safe to say if you think you're not an addict, then ignorance is bliss, right? Like make your circumstances prove you wrong. Why go tempt fate? Yeah, I totally agree. Why? And also, even if I am an addict, even if I am an addict, as long as I stay vigilant and keeping my guard up, knowing that I could, maybe somebody says it's an addict thing, but maybe I just look at it as I'm still susceptible to getting addicted to things. So even if I just look at it mentally to keep my guard up and be vigilant and to fight to not get re-addicted to anything, even if that's the way I saw it, does it help at all to carry this weight of paranoia that I'm an addict?
Yeah. I don't like the term at all. Just don't think about it as a label.
Yeah.
Just drop the labels and just do what you feel best doing.
Right. And I mean, that's a question. I'm not judging anybody. I just really want to know, what would like, I could see it that you want it so that you stay vigilant at keeping your guard up and not getting yourself into a tempted environment or forgetting why you're doing this. Like we have to remember where we came from. We have to remember why we're doing this. We have to stay vigilant, but I don't think we have to stay in this perpetual state of vulnerability to something that I think we might have healed. I don't know. I don't know if that's the best way to say it either, but I don't know. All right. Where am I at here? So if you have a craving, eat a ribeye. Yeah, 100%. That is
bacon's cheaper.
For sure. Eat. Or too much stress on the body causes higher cortisol. That's for sure. Yep.
And lack of sleep, not resting.
Yeah.
Prioritize your rest.
Sleep is important. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Jewel says, Todd, is Texas seeming more pleasant now, minus the scorpions? Jewel, right now I'm so cold, I would probably snuggle up with a scorpion. To have a little heat. So yes, it is seeming more pleasant. I might be 40% Texan here in another year or two if this place keeps staying cold. So yeah, for sure. Hey, there she is. Hey, Mary.
Hi, Myron. How are you?
So Andregs asks Jules, why do some questions come up on their screen under Michael? And it's because of how StreamYard works. So when we post, sometimes it comes up under Michael or it comes up under all of us. But it's because you guys are watching from all of our different channels. So it depends on which channel that we are chatting from. I don't think that helped anybody. Everybody's like, Todd's having
Todd's talking to himself again. Talking to that little voice in his head.
Exactly. My husband is keto, but clean, healthy keto, meat, veg does great. 100%. And that thus being the N=1, right? There's going to be some people that can't even handle some aged meat, has to eat it from frozen. And then there's people that can even tolerate the vegetables, there's quite a spectrum.
And if he's feeling fantastic, it's working for him, he shouldn't change anything. So you just got to find what works best for you as an individual.
For sure.
I think they were talking about this, about his messages coming up under me. Because what happens is Todd sometimes will switch over to Rumble and we'll skip ahead from the queue of the messages that we have already queued up, starred to be
Yeah.
read. So when he does that, we untag your message when he does that. So that's why everyone's seeing it below me.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now we got it. That sounded less strokey. Much better. I eat a lot of hamburger too. Absolutely. Hamburger is delicious.
I do. Yep.
I cannot stop eating bacon. Oh my God. I don't eat beef very often. If I do, it's smash burgers with bacon. You may have a new addiction, but that's a good one. All right, let's see here. I threw away my cast iron skillet for the same reason.
I'm glad it's not only me. Always be kind to us.
That's awesome. All right. Amy, having a bit of cake on your birthday. Oh, we did this one, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we did that one. Right.
I recommend their Aussie iron pans. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Australian iron pans. Since they come pre-seasoned, oh, that's nice already. You basically treat it like a cast iron, but I like
the lesser weight.
Yeah.
Oz iron. I'll have to Google that one so I remember.
Yeah, I got it. I got the link here. I'll post it.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
You posted in WhatsApp too.
Yep.
Yay.
Addiction is an umbrella term used for what we commonly go through. Addiction is addiction, no matter what we are addicted to, by the way. Oh, that makes sense. Day 69 for me on Carnivore, still steaming along. That's awesome.
Good job.
That is awesome. Very good.
That's great.
Congratulations, and keep us posted too. Just keep coming in and keep giving your updates because that's incredible. Question: why do I have a headache since starting Carnivore? I just started about because you're 1.5 weeks ago. So once you get about, some of it is electrolytes, but once you get about 5 days into it, you finally deplete your glucose supplies, and your body holds glucose in your muscle and your liver, and you're a glucose burner before you start Carnivore. And then when you finally run out of glucose, your body's struggling to find, it's like you're just going through withdrawals, but your body's struggling to find to become fat, adapt, and burn fat, and it's looking for glucose, and you're still kind of an addict. It's basically what's called the keto flu, you know?
Mm-hmm. And it's a real thing.
It absolutely is. So that's very normal.
And then here's these the pans.
Oh, they look nice.
They look real nice.
I did find the cast iron because I did eggs in them, I think, and I completely destroyed it, the cast iron. But it was really heavy to use. So I like the thought that this is lightweight.
And then here's that grill that somebody was talking about that they were getting.
Yeah.
Oh, the Schwacky one, was it?
Yeah. Goes up to 1,500 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that like in a convection oven or?
No, it's called a salamander. So you only put your steaks in there for like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So it does both sides at a time?
Yeah, it sears both sides.
I'll post a link to that if anybody's interested. They're not cheap.
Or no, it doesn't sear both sides. Sorry, it doesn't sear both sides at a time.
One at a time. Yep.
Yeah, one at a time. But he put 2 steaks in it. Sorry.
Yeah, I definitely like the pan idea.
For sure. Electrolytes, remember, they are minerals, and we do not naturally make minerals in our bodies. Got to put them in there if you're feeling a lack of them. Yeah, and you do need them at first, especially because another thing that happens is when you you tend to start under eating right away when you're go carnivore because you're not feeling good and you get meat aversion and all these things and you start feeling satiated. But when you do that, you start drinking more, which also runs out your electrolytes, washes them out pretty quick too. That's why we kind of need to lean on them. Beware of the pre-seasoned pans. Companies often use seed oils to do so. That's 100% sure true. Yeah. $100 true. How does a woman start losing weight? How does a woman start losing weight? Carnivore, and you got to be okay with gaining a little bit of weight, that good weight, first to heal, and then you can go into once you're nourished and your body heals up, which can take some time, but you'll be free from your food addictions or at least have them in check and have the power and have the off switch Lindy talks about, and then you can go into fasting, and fasting will help you lean out. So I need to lose weight. You actually, I think you need to heal.
Yeah, it's all about healing your hormones and stopping those craving signals and things that go through your head. You need to think of this as not as a diet, but this is a lifelong change of life. This is the way you need to eat for life. And if your body feels safe and you prime and nourish your body, you'll reset your hormones and you'll set yourself up for a fabulous future. That's how you have to look at it. It's not a short-term fix. You don't just do carnivore to fit into a wedding dress or something in 2 or 3 weeks' time. This is all about the healing. So, yeah. And as you get closer to that goal weight, it is harder to lose, they say. And I know my weight loss has slowed down. I dropped a lot of weight very quickly, but I was coming from a really extreme, 750, 800 pounds. And now that I'm down to, I've been hovering around 270 pretty much for the year. I got, I think, down to 265 and I'm back up to 270. I'm just hovering in that spot. And it's really hard to break that. But it'll happen, I think, with summer and all that. But I can't focus on that and I can't think of myself as a failure. It's just I've lost a lot of weight quickly and my body needs to catch up. And I've still got, dodgy knees and dodgy hips and things to fix. So you just have to be patient. Yeah, trust the process. And I know I'm going to get there. I just have to not think about the weight loss so much.
There's so much more to it than just the weight loss.
Yeah, and it just raises your
I know.
Yeah, and get stressed out, and then you raise your cortisol levels, and that makes things even worse. And then your hair falls out because you're stressing too much, and it's just like a spiral.
For sure. If you can associate an addiction with a particular activity, flip the script and do something else, making new habits, absolutely. And you can even use the rituals of the rituals up until the point of the activity that was the addiction that you want to get rid of. You can still use those rituals, but change the target and change it to a healthy addiction too. So that works too. Yeah, good habits, 100%. Absolutely, Todd. Surround yourself with the people you want to be like. That's why community is so important. 100%.
Yeah.
How much should a woman eat on carnivore? It starts at like 2 pounds of meat a day, roughly. Yep, that's what they say. And then it's kind of, but you'd have to check out priming and see how that protocol works. But priming's super helpful. Yes, weight isn't really a good standard for health. Not at all. Think about those shots that shall not be named. Isn't it crazy that you can lose weight and become skinny fat? Like you become fatter the more weight you lose by percentage. That because you're losing lean tissue at a rate of 2-to-1 versus fat. So that means if you already had a higher BMI rate of fat than you wanted, like you're 30 or 40% fat and you want to get down to 24 or something, well, the more weight you lose with those stupid shots, your losing muscle and bone density and things at a higher percentage than you are the fat. So you're actually by ratio becoming fatter. If I mean, maddening to think about that that's popular right now. I mean, literally, it's like, okay, I mean, no joke. What is the difference between losing lean muscle mass and cutting your arm off and throwing it in the garbage can so that the scale says less pounds? I mean, you're getting rid of useful, functioning, lean tissue so that the scale says that you're thinner because we have it in our head that that means that we're healthier. I mean, that's crazy. So silly. Beef, butter, bacon, eggs saved my life. Lost 150 pounds. Reverse type 2 diabetes. Congratulations.
Good job, Jammer.
Appreciate it so much. I love he puts this in all the videos, and I love it because he is doing his part to be an example and spread the good word. So we appreciate you so much, Jammer. Keep it up.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't do extended fast because of lap band, but I am experimenting with 20-hour fast every day for the rest of December for the healing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Good
good
job,
job.
Good job. I started because my doctor said I have pre-diabetes. I already have lots of health problems. It can, man, well, welcome to the club of lots of health problems. Trust me, it's a whole lot better. This carnivore never surprises me what the body can heal with proper nutrition. So don't count it out.
Look what it did for your eyes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Eyes, lymphedema. I mean, my right leg, you saw my right leg the other day. It looks like a normal human being's leg.
It does.
I'm like, how'd that happen? Left one, still working on it. Right one, looks normal. You guys will be happy to know I'm cankle free. Andre, mental addiction is the worst. I have cravings for stuff that make me sick. I have to stay away from food, TV, certain social situations, etc. Okay, so that's really interesting too, because then, yeah, I'll have to read up more on what because something has clearly freed me from the mental addiction side of things, and I think it's just that I spend so many hours now. Like everything changed. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch like pretty much all the content that I consume is carnivore content now.
Right.
You know, I haven't stopped watching the news and all that stuff because I'm either working or I'm doing this. And so that might be why, like I said, that it might be, you guys are probably bringing up a very good point that it's an environmental change, you know?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Because every night my husband and I would sit on the couch, and after dinner, the first thing he says, "Oh, what do you want for a snack?" And we would order something because that's what we do. And so now when we sit on the couch, those thoughts do come into my head, but I grab my iPad and I do a paint by number. And my husband's doing cross stitch. He does a cross stitch thing. So we're keeping our hands and our minds busy. Like neither one of us really watch the TV. It's there for sort of background noise, but that's our little habit. And we've had to have these other things to stop us from wanting the food. So I do my little iPad games. He does his cross stitch, and we don't order anything. So it's just changing that habit. Maybe you can find something to replace, those thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you eat regular bacon? Yes, but it depends on the brand, right? Like I eat Daly's bacon from Costco because yes, it has nitrates in it, but I don't care about the nitrates, but I do care if it's like maple bacon or if they cure it with sugar. So I look for the sugar and I make sure there's none of those oses, the allulose, whatever, all the ose crap that means that they're curing it in sugar.
Yeah. I don't normally have bacon. I find it gives me indigestion, and I think it is because it's not very clean. But now that I found this bacon at my butcher just last week, I'm pretty excited by it. So I've ordered a bunch of it.
For sure. Let's see. Now the idea of eating anything sweet gives me a headache. Well, that's a blessing, isn't it? That'll keep you away from it. Well, you definitely use that. That is quite the blessing. Semi-retired Bob is moving to Texas next year. Well, that makes sense.
Oh, nice.
Dang cold.
Well, it is summer in Australia.
I'll have to come visit. It's getting dang cold here. I might
Mm.
shack up for the I guess your summer. My
We're going to
winter.
feed some kangaroos. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I wonder if I could fit in one of those pouches. They look warm. I don't crave sugar, but peanut butter is dangerous for me. Ooh, I bet so. You can put down a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah.
Thank you for the unstrokey response.
No worries. Appreciate it. I don't. I'm trying to think if I was strokey or not, if that's sarcasm.
I don't know. But we're very quick off the mark today.
Am I? I might be all the shrimp I'm eating. Maybe I'm getting some of that whatever was in it. Let's see. Not a fan of ground meat. I'm definitely team steak. Braised meat like oxtail roast. I will eat the occasional hamburger though. Love the way of eating. Really inspired by your progress. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I too am definitely team steak. That's what I consume the most of. But every now and then I don't mind some ground beef, but I kind of like ground beef as either a pemmican or a thickener for like meat chili. So I'll make steak chili and then I'll grind up ground beef really tiny and put it in the au jus because I use ground beef in little tiny pieces to almost act like thickener,
Right.
to fill the void, and it works pretty good. But I agree. I just don't like ground beef because I don't trust anything anymore that's processed to eat to any point because I don't know what else they hid in it. Once they grind it, when I get a steak and I look at it, I know there's nothing else in there. Yeah. But when you get ground hamburger, it's kind of like, I don't know what's in there. I know what they say is in there, but what's actually in there? Todd, you are a plethora of information. Well, it might be you might have meant plethora of pontification. All three of you are great teachers and inspiration. Absolutely. Thanks so much. These guys are awesome. I'm mouthy and I feel like I've had a lot of fat. I know what it is too. It's because I didn't get home till way early this morning. I stayed out all night like some sort of teenager. Yep. Now I'm running off adrenaline.
He's playing with the Christmas parade lights.
I got a high from being in the parade. Let's see. I just discovered frozen steaks in the air fryer and love it. What is happening today? What is happening?
Love it.
I'm going to have to feed all of you good steaks.
That's all right. Just send an invitation. We'll all come over.
I'm going to have to. I ate 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of goal weight. Still OMAD, but now I eat butter a lot more. That's awesome, Marilyn. Congratulations. I'm sure people are doing the one pick, thank you, because they are getting all the info informed consent. Sarcasm. Yeah, exactly. From conformed consent. Yeah, right. And none of it is just because of the magic pill complex, And we all know that that's the truth of the matter is because magic pills don't make you stop partaking your addictions,
Yeah. There's no quick fix.
None at all.
So I've just got a call. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. No worries. The terms of the order of healing, look up Dr. Herring, folks. Definitely will. Let's see. I tried the shots before. I learned about Carnivore, but the side effects were just too much to handle. Yeah. Carnivore has resolved many issues. I've had that shot, never addressed. Yeah. Yep, for sure. The Carnivore resolves many issues the shot didn't address. Absolutely. And they're going to keep doing it. And it's like the only reason to take that dang thing, in my opinion, is if you want to keep eating the way you're eating. Otherwise, why would you ever want to risk permanent neurological paralysis of the gut?
Right.
I mean, that is insane. Plus, now the cancers that are coming out of that, they're linked it to breast cancer already. I mean, it's incredible. I don't know how come I can't say it and I get a freaking guideline ban, and the Hodge twins just went off on it the other day and said the name 400 times. So I'm going to say it's because they're black. That's why. That's a joke, of course, but funny. Yeah, for addictions, if you replace the thing that triggered you with something positive, then it's much easier to leave the addiction. 100%. 100%. That has helped me a ton. Love music. Learning my friend was hospitalized, taking those shots, had to quit. Yeah. Yeah. So music. Yeah. There we go.
I'm still gonna say my friend passed away from it. So.
Right. 100%. Love it. Changing the environment and consuming the carnivore content on YouTube has been a lifesaver. Just rewatching an SPG where you all were on. Excellent. That's awesome. Thanks so much. And I agree. And, I hope I want to encourage all of you to, when you get to a point that you feel like you might have something to say, or you want to share your experience with people, do something like this. Like, the fact that we are the 3 most unlikely people to ever put our face on camera, much less talk to everybody. That's in itself is a testament to carnivore, because I don't hardly have I have a handful of before pictures because I hid from the camera my entire life. The idea of being on camera was nuts. Yeah. And now, when you heal and your brain's working right, you're like, oh yeah, I know why I was sick. Of course,
you find something that actually works, and you want to help all the others that are trapped out there that are struggling just like we all were.
For sure.
That's why we do this.
Yeah, so I encourage all of you to do your own thing like this and hop in the community, because I'm just saying, even on a selfish side, I want to get the word out, but also what this does for me and Michael and Lindy, staying in this, keeps us super accountable. It keeps our mind in it. It keeps us learning so that we can help answer your guys' questions. It keeps us finding the path forward, learning from you guys, and understanding the nuances and these troubleshooting and tips and these puzzle pieces start fitting together. And when we do that, that's what can build us as a community, where we can help all the new people and bring them in so that they can actually be successful and not just be left to the wolves,
Right. Everything's easier when you got people that are all working together for the same cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Support system.
Yep.
Great idea. Meat as a thickener. Yeah, that works for my chili. I quite like it. Shrimp sounds good. Shrimp is good. I've been eating a whole lot of it lately. I don't know why, because I've never craved shrimp in my life, but I've been craving like crazy lately. Todd, you can cook me a steak. I won't complain. I definitely will. You're going to need a well-cooked steak.
And a bib.
Listen, just a second. Just a second.
Oh, here we go.
I'm getting pictures. I'm bringing receipts.
I got pictures.
Do not put that picture up or I will shoot you. We'll not be friends anymore.
Is that a promise?
You son of a... You take that back. All right, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Why is it that I run across the picture 1,000 times and then when I need it, I can't find the picture?
Yeah.
You don't happen to have the picture of my smoked prime rib, do you?
Did you post it recently?
Not recently, but I thought I had it saved.
Let's see. Well, you probably sent it to me when I was on my fast, so I probably have
it. Hold on. Let me find it. I got to show proof because these people don't know what they're missing.
looking. Let's see.
All right, I'm about to give up already because I thought it was going to be easy to get to.
Let's see. Oh, you might have sent it to me directly. Hold on. Keep going. I'll find it.
Okay, I'm going to move on. Let's see here. I haven't watched TV since before starting Carnivore. Stayed in a hotel recently. All the food commercial, yikes, definitely thought about the old foods for a while afterwards. Yeah, I believe that. And that could be one of the reasons that I feel not addicted anymore, because I don't get exposed to that stuff, which might be an argument for team you don't tempt yourself, but also I don't feel that that's completely accurate either, because I do feel tempted because I'm around people like when I go to work in the morning on Mondays, the office is full of fresh cinnamon rolls and muffins and donuts and all this crap, and I don't care. Like, it's right there. We go to breakfast. We do have a company breakfast every Thursday. The guys are eating, French toast and syrup and, biscuits and gravy and all that stuff, and I don't care. Um, and then just like last night. But yeah, I don't surround myself with it, but I also don't want to. I don't want to set myself up for a fall either. I've uh, I retired and moved to Florida. Actually, found a local carnivore club. It helps a lot. Oh, that's awesome. Let us know what carnivore club that is. Dr. Phil from SBG Gang is in Tampa. And also, if you guys don't know this, I'd love to shout this out, but we are speaking at Hack Your Health. The SBG Gang, including yours truly here, are speaking in 2025 in Florida, Tampa, Florida, at the Hack Your Health conference. Yeah, we hope to see you guys all there. And
I will post a link for that.
yeah, I was just trying to think of what our coupon code. Oh, our coupon code is
Carnivore. All
Carnivore,
caps.
all capital letters. And that'll get you $100 off your ticket if you guys want to go check that out. But yeah, I'd love your guys' support if you want to come hear me pontificate in person. I do have a picture of my chili. Let me show you this chili. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. And let me present the chili. Then I'll answer this question. Share. There it is. Good. Let me get that. So what that is, and now it doesn't have to be this fancy pants, but that one is 84 hours sous vide smoked brisket that I chopped up, and then I braise it in the juice from the sous vide bag from the brisket, and that juice, and I thicken it with ground hamburger, but I grind it really fine in a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and also later I top that with pickled jalapenos because I don't have an issue with the pickled jalapenos. And you can also, if you can tolerate them, it's kind of an N=1 experiment. I have done this same recipe with some of the dried chilies, like the dried Anaheim chilies and the dried red jalapenos and all that. I've taken some of those because some of the dried ones, as long as you get rid of the seeds and then you rehydrate them in vinegar, I found that it neutralizes the oxalates, and then I actually take them and I make kind of a birria sauce with them, but instead of using the onions and the garlic, I use the pickled juice or the pickled jalapeno juice and pickled jalapenos in with it, and I mix it up and I make a birria au jus that I put in the sous vide bag when I sous vide the brisket for 84 hours, and then that marinates with the fat from the brisket. And when it comes out, I have birria brisket chili that I thicken with ground beef after. So, yeah, I don't know if that sounded complicated, but it's actually not too bad.
And then I did find your prime rib.
Oh, you're the man. That is Thing of Beauty, but that is actually...
Well, that's your
that's my
roast,
lamb.
huh?
Yeah, that's my lamb one. But that's a thing of beauty. That's one of my steaks. That's one of my air fried steaks. That one's a thing of beauty
Was that
too.
from the freezer?
No, God, no. You take that back. No, that thing's delicious and well. Look at all that Maillard effect. And then, did I run out of comments?
Yeah, we caught up.
There
That's
we
what
go.
happens.
You guys did awesome. I was going for it because you guys did an incredible job with comments today, and I didn't want to leave any on the table. So, man, I'm trying to catch up to the bottom of the live chat.
Hey, DC.
Hey, DC, appreciate you coming in. There we go.
Cranky said that sounded amazing, the chili, and he just ate.
That's awesome. Well, good. It really is. It really is delicious. It works pretty good. And I'm not that I'm trying to look. I'm for getting away with whatever you can get away with, and you just have to be honest with yourself on your N=1 experiment. But I don't seem to have problems with pickled vegetables and or pickled jalapenos, anyways. Now I will tell you this though. This is kind of funny. So I ordered a hot sauce the other day. I can't remember what brand it was, but I usually it was just vinegar, but usually like vinegar and jalapenos or vinegar and cayenne, like in Tabasco. I don't have a single problem with. I got a different hot sauce because it was vinegar and habanero. It gave me a headache and I got inflamed from it. So apparently habanero, even in vinegar, apparently I have some sort of oxalate reaction from habanero. So I just can't do it. I love the spice, but I couldn't do the habanero. So I learned that was just one dose and I had to throw it away. And that's how I treat all the dried chilies, because I just try them one at a time. And then if I can tolerate them and I don't have a reaction to them, well, shoot, I don't care. Anything that gets you eating more meat is good by me. And birria brisket chili is so delicious. And I like the profile of vinegar and beef together. I think it works really well. So that tangy vinegar with the acidity and the little bit of spiciness from the jalapenos and the dried chilies makes an awesome birria. And then emulsifying the beef to make it thicker, to make the au jus thicker, works really well too. So I highly recommend it, but you have to test those things for yourself if you're going to have a reaction to any of it. Thank you for doing this. It's like an AA meeting and I'm motivated to stay on plan. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we should call it a SAD meeting. A sad diet meeting for sure. That's awesome.
I was just on the phone looking at the picture of, was that your birria?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's lunchtime. Definitely. It looks really good.
So good. It's so good. It's one of my favorites for sure. And that brisket is, so I sous vide it and I sous vide it for 84 hours, but I sous vide it at 154 degrees, and that's brisket, which is way, if I was smoking it, I'd want to get it to an internal temperature at our elevation of 193 to 195, somewhere in that range. But when I'm making the birria chili and sous vide in it for so long, I like it at 154, because when you cut it up, it has a slight, it doesn't just fall apart like like a slow roasted, like crock pot chuck roast, where it's going to fall apart in strings. That's how that would get at 193 degrees. When you do it at 154, it stays in these chunks where they're still super juicy and tender, but they don't fall apart. So they have a slight toothy feel to it. And it's really nice. It's really satisfying little bite,
Nice.
Let's see. I cook my ribeyes in the air fryer after they come to room temp. Amen, brother. They come out perfectly rare every time. That's the way. That's how we do it. Especially if you dry brine it beforehand. That is proper for sure. And when I hear this frozen front, I go, la, 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 la. For your information, pickles on occasion is nice. Absolutely.
Yeah,
sure. If it doesn't cause you any problems, like And I mean problems from inflammation to opening up your appetite and making you more hungry and overeat. And because and I'm going to put two things there. Sometimes things make you eat when your body's not calling for it because they're hyper palatable. You have to know that, like cheese, right? But
Yeah.
you get meat aversion and you're having a hard time priming and you need to open up your appetite. Use those as tools. Go get the cheese. If the pickles are doing it to you, go get it. But if pickles don't do that to you, if they don't make you crave carbohydrates in your old foods, and if you don't have inflammation or oxalate problems or any of that stuff, and you don't get phlegmy or anything from it, you don't have a reaction, you don't retain fluid, then by all means add them to your diet, I think. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for helping me learn. Absolutely. We thank you guys. You guys help us all learn every week. It's incredible. Do you trim the brisket fat before you sous vide it? No, I leave all the brisket fat in there and I let it break down. And then after it comes out of the sous vide bag, then I trim out what didn't render down, but I want all that rendered fat in the bag because that's what I put in the pot, and I end up cooking it down, and I emulsify it with the vinegar, and I grind up the ground hamburger beef in there, and it kind of soaks up that fat. And so you do have to be a little careful. You kind of got to be kind of fat adapt and tolerant because there's a whole bunch of fat in there. But when you put the liquid in there for the birria, that also helps because that, like when you emulsify the dried peppers and the pickled jalapenos, that's what the birria sauce ends up being, is the rendered fat and the pickled jalapeno puree and the pepper puree. That's what it ends up being. And then sometimes I'll even add a little bit of, if I just didn't have enough juice in there, because this makes, that pot is a huge pot, and I ended up making it. That was only about 25% of it, but I ended up making about 22 pounds of brisket chili when I made that, because I did a whole brisket. And yeah, that thing's actually like an 18-inch by 4-inch thick skillet that holds about 5 pounds at a time. Those are pretty big chunks. I like them pretty beefy. But I chop that all up, and that's why I wanted to have a kind of a more structural integrity, so I have those bigger beef chunks. But then I rendered that down a couple of times at a low simmer to thicken that juice up to make that consistency out of it. So I wanted all the fat in there because it just adds a ton of flavor.
For me, I want little chunks, so because of my
Yeah.
lap band, that would go down so nice, and having that gravy would be good, awesome.
Yeah, I can chop it up a lot smaller too, but yeah, I was just chopping them up in chunks like that,
Yeah.
Tell you what, Cosette had no problem going after that thing like this.
Yeah, she knows. Exactly, LaDonna. We're waiting for our invite. See?
4th of July, Montana.
Yeah, start saving.
For sure. Wow, we made it 3 hours, and man, you guys are awesome. You guys gave us so many questions tonight. I loved it. Kept us hopping. I think this was an all-time record for turnout. So
yeah, it did well. Very good.
Questions and turnout. So I appreciate it. But we
was
we
that
hit
parade last night, man. I'm telling you.
It's that parade. Got some of that Christmas parade of lights energy going on.
So. Probably could have doubled it if you had your glitter hat on too.
Yeah. Oh, we need to mention that. So next Sunday is our giveaway. Saturday. Next Saturday is our giveaway. So are we going to do a live on Sunday too, or just Saturday?
I don't think so. Thought it was just the 14th, no?
Okay, probably so. All right, so
because Lindy, I don't think Lindy can make it, right? You can't make it next Sunday, Lindy? Is that why we're doing it on Saturday?
Who said we're doing it Saturday? I'm not aware of that.
We picked it. I think
it would be Sunday for you, Lindy.
Yeah. So are you busy next Monday, Lindy?
No, not that I know of.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so let's just do it on Sunday, same time.
All right, we'll change it. Okay, then.
Okay, yeah.
Time, then. All right.
All right, so same bat time, same bat channel next Sunday.
Christmas.
We are doing a Christmas special, and we will be giving $1,000 worth of prizes away. And that special, just like our last Christmas special, just like we did on Friday, only a lot more in prizes. We're going to be doing that on this channel on Friday, spinning the wheel, having fun. And so we hope to see you guys here. and we should probably get that scheduled like tomorrow if we can, so that we got a Christmas schedule all set up. But yeah, my new hack,
Sounds
I'll
good.
purchase a primal cut of ribeye, age it in my fridge, and cut off pieces. That's awesome. It works really well for me. So yeah, we can't wait to see you guys there. Oh, Michael, hey, Lindy, plug yours. Go la 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 la. Lindy, do that. So just throwing this out there, we would love you guys all to share it. We appreciate any of you.
Oh, what happened?
Michael, boot her, put her.
That wasn't me. That was her.
I know it was.
I'll kick her out. I'll kick her out right now.
Put her
Oh,
in the gulag. We started, me and Michael, not Lindy, because she would kill it. Well, she's going to kill me, and that's why I actually can't go to Australia for a few years. We started a GoFundMe for her skin surgery because Lindy's lost over 500 pounds and she deserves to have a skin surgery. And she even known she never wants to ask for help. Me and Michael wanted to help her. So we donated. We started a GoFundMe for skin surgery and donated it. And we understand any dollar helps, but also if you can't, that's totally fine too. Just if you just put it on your social media and pass it along to anybody that wants to even put a buck in there. Me and Michael want to make sure that Lindy gets her skin surgery. So,
yeah, we do.
And we're not taking no from answer from this proud cranky Aussie. So,
Nope.
if you guys could help pass that around, I'd sure appreciate it. Me and Michael will be ever indebted to you. So we thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. And
Link is in the channel, guys.
For sure. Yeah, he is.
He's a good teacher.
Dog. These guys are ganging up on me. You'll never have the parade cloud, though.
No.
Yep. Parade cloud like this guy. Yep. We appreciate y'all. We will see you next Sunday. We love you. We'll see you then for the Christmas special.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.